Did it count down?
Yeah.
I didn't get a countdown at all. It should be on my screen, though. I don't have a countdown at all on my screen. Dear Jesus, sweet baby Jesus in a manger. Here we go. Here it is.
Roll with it.
All right. Well done to go. 5, 4, 3.
Here comes Travis and Mitch, better known as the Style Boys, with a new episode of the Off the Rails podcast.
Wow, it's been a little bit since we've heard that sound right there, huh? Oh, what?
You ain't lying.
That intro, a little bit different intro music there, but nonetheless, it is our intro music, so that must mean one thing. Style Boys are in the house.
We back, baby. We
Oh,
back,
my
and we're
God.
full of PP and vinegar.
Well, there's plenty to talk about. That is for sure. Oh, so for those of you who don't know, I am Travis, and that other fella on the other screen there is,
Mitch.
and together we make up the Style Boys, STILE. If you don't understand why, we'll explain it eventually. And this is the Off the Rails podcast, where anything and everything should be expected to happen, including screwing up starting the very first recording of the very first show back.
Look, if we would have nailed that, man, they'd be like, I don't even like this. This is not what I'm used to.
Well, that'll at least make a very good blooper for an ad promo or something, you know. But
Well,
anyway.
welcome back, buddy. Let me just say, hey, welcome back, man. I'm excited. We're going to cover some stuff, and we're going to get everything going. And I mean, you guys better be ready.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing to discuss is obviously for the YouTubers, you're in the same location.
Yep.
Because that should all look familiar to y'all, but I am not in the same location. I have once again relocated shops during this whole process. So we'll get into that. That's definitely a topic of discussion to cover, the moving, and then, but I guess kind of we need to explain where we've been for the last, how long has it been?
A year.
Has it been a year?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the easiest way to put it is life. Life just happened. If for those of you remember, kind of last time we did the podcast, really, I was down in Alabama working. Mitch and I were building my mother-in-law's cabinets. There is a lost episode that we actually did record together. But boy, the technical difficulties we had during that were unreal. We lost so much video and audio. Oh, no, that's what it was. We had a lot of video. We lost audio.
Lost audio.
For a lot of it. It was unrecoverable for whatever reason.
Hey, phones were dying. Phones just quit recording. I mean, it was stuff. And we had no idea. We were just sitting there talking. And it was probably one of the best ones we've ever done because we were together. We were just kind of relaxed and everything's chilled out. And we thought we had everything together. And then we found out later on that you couldn't salvage it.
Yeah, it was unsalvageable. There was just nothing there really worth posting. So, and then, so I did finish the remodel, got back to Tennessee, and just, man, life was just busy. It just seemed like it took forever to get my feet back underneath me after being gone for so long to kind of start getting the money flow going back. And Mitch, you were just inundated with jobs as well, and we really just couldn't get our schedules to coordinate. Is really all it come down to was, I mean, nothing's happened with us. We have not talked any more than we did when we did the podcast. I mean, we still are in communications a couple of times a week, and still know what's going on. But we
did not get divorced.
No.
But I will say though, as we were talking about it, we were thinking, you guys have to know that we were sitting down 3 hours a week, and I was building a home, and we were rocking and rolling in the shop. Travis was, crazy busy on his side, and just take 3 hours between you and somebody else who's just as busy as you are, and try to nail down both of you guys having the same 3 hours with school, with kids, with work, with family. And it just got to where we were just like, hey, let's just do a hard reset, and
Well,
there was
and
some
this was
stuff.
always supposed to be fun, and it was getting to the point where it was not fun anymore. It was so stressful trying to line things up. I mean,
Yep.
that's just the honest truth. It was just stressful. So
And we have to be fair to the listeners too. Like Travis and I can ramble for 3 hours.
easy.
Easy. If we can ramble for 3 hours and try to hold you guys' attention, that's the hard part. And we were having to do that every single week. And so it just, we were just like, hey, let's hold off and let's see, let's try to come up with a better way of doing this.
So I guess that kind of leads us to our first change that we can go ahead and discuss is so what we are going to do is we are going to record one episode a month, but we are going to release it in two separate formats because if you go to Facebook and do a poll, you will get no usable data.
Right.
So,
As per usual.
or you will just have your poll crapped on by people who don't want to give you a legitimate answer. So what we've kind of learned is that there is a mixed bag between long format and short format podcast. The algorithms don't seem to point you in either direction, and even our own personal preferences don't point us in a great direction because I love long format podcast. But at the same time, if I'm doing a little short jaunt or I'm just doing, around the town, I like a short format podcast so that I don't miss it. I don't have to try to keep up with it. So we're going to release this podcast in two forms. We're going to release a full version every month in one continuous span of whatever it was, just like we did before. And then we're going to also, this same episode is going to release in 3 to 4 segments. However, it naturally seems to divide. It will become much shorter segments. Around that 45-minute mark is what we're looking for. But, it's not something we're planning. Like, we're not sitting down now and saying, all right, in 45 minutes, we're going to stop.
Yeah.
And that'll be cut.
We don't have timers going or anything
Yeah.
like that. And so I think what that'll do is if you have a long day of sanding or driving or working or whatever, you're cutting grass, and you would rather have the long form, you can start at the beginning and listen to it all the way through. It's the same podcast, the same episode, but one is going to be one version, like I said, would just be broken up into several smaller podcasts.
And this may be the dumbest idea ever because nobody else is doing this
Yeah.
that I've found. I've found nobody else doing this, and there may be a reason. There may be a reason why, but it just seems to be. It seems to make sense for us, and the feedback that we're getting because this is a very small group of people that are listening to this. It's kind of niche. I get that. So I feel like more of those people said that they wanted a short format podcast, but there were several that did want a long. So we're just going to try to give you both things and see how it goes.
Hats off to the people that let us know that we were no longer doing a podcast. We've had Jason B. Got to give him a shout out. He's been, I wouldn't say involved, but we've been in the communication with him ever since, the last version of it or last time we did one.
And to the people who were like, "Hey, thank you for bringing it back, man." We were surprised. We were surprised when we started throwing out like little tidbits of information that we were going to start up again. It 5, 6, 10, it wasn't a ton, but it was enough to say maybe there is something here worth growing.
Yeah, and I think we used the first couple of years, a year and a half that we did it as it was a beta test, really. It was, are people going to listen? Do we have the ability to do a podcast, to talk about things, like grown-ups and joke around and cut up and make it worth listening to? But then we also took that knowledge during the break and we said, okay, when we come back, we're going to be armed with already having done a podcast. I mean, guys, we've been studying analytics. We've been looking at traffic. We've been trying to find out where our best foot forward is going to be in what platform or platforms. And there you go. And so, we're actually taking some of the data, the small amount of data that is available to us, but we're going to be, building on that and all that kind of stuff. So look for a lot of different things this way. Do you want to kind of say some of the stuff that's in the chute?
Yeah, so I think that kind of naturally leads us to our next point is that a kind of another reason why we kind of paused. It was a very small factor, but another reason why we paused is expenses. It just gets expensive. And it's not crazy amount of money. We kind of sat down yesterday and we were kind of looking at everything. I think we can roughly call it for our production $100 a month is about
Hmm.
what it cost us per month. Now that's not talking like changing mics and changing cameras. Like we both changed cameras for the relaunch. You know, brought in, some different sound. I had to put my wife on the payroll to run the producer side of
She
things.
ain't cheap either, buddy.
No, she is
Man.
not. Is daily expense there. But so we had to, but with that, it just costs. So with that, what we're going to do is we are going to launch a Patreon page. So we will put out links for it. We'll put them in the description of the YouTube video below. And there'll be a couple of tiers to it. We can't 100% say right now what those tiers are going to be as far as benefits go, because we're actually still working through that.
Hmm.
I think we are looking at a yearly, end of the year, something special that we're going to make or have made for our top level Patreon members. And then the other members, are just a way to support us. If it's $2, I think, well, the lowest one is $3. That is the lowest Patreon will let us go. Is $3. And Patreon takes 8% of anything that you make as their fee, because they're a business as well. So if that's a factor when you're looking at Patreon and you think about, hey, well, $3, I can do $5 because that'll help them out. They're actually gonna get more of that than the $3.
Yeah.
That's just transparent. That's just the way it works, So if anybody wants to jump on our Patreon page and become a member, and we'll do some exclusive. We'll do a live once a month. We'll do a live with those guys. We want to do a Q&A type session with that as well.
Yeah. So some of you may be wondering because surprisingly, not a lot of people that I've talked to, that probably listen to the podcast have no idea what Patreon is. So basically, you sign up and you pay a certain amount of dollars per month automatically. And it could be, there's different tiers, whatever. You just have to look and see which one you feel like doing if you feel like doing it. And what it does is it just drafts your bank account once a month for that dollar amount, $3 or $5 or $10 or whatever. And then that's it. And then when people do that, that's going to go into an account that we're going to have to pay for Riverside, to pay for Bus, to pay for editing software, to pay for, whatever comes down the track, because it costs money. And the reason you can still listen to our old episodes is because I've been paying every month, keeping all that stuff, online. So even during the downtime, I decided, you know, I'm going to leave it up just, so we can listen to it or somebody else can listen to it or whatever. So just
Yeah.
that's what Patreon is. It's nothing crazy, you
We're
know.
looking at 3, 5, and $10. That's kind of where we're looking at right now. So you might see that top tier move just a little bit, maybe, but that's kind of what we're looking for. Because if we can get, I mean, we're not trying to. Yes, if this became a monetized podcast at some point in time, I don't think either one of us would object to that or be upset
Mm-mm.
by making money off this. But we don't want that. We're not trying to get that to come from any kind of listener. We're hoping that with listeners and with growth, that side of things will come from, advertisements and things like that.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody paying to listen to us. But if Patreon is basically just a way of showing, hey, I like what you're doing enough that I want to contribute, and
Yeah.
if we can get, if we can get enough people to contribute where we're pulling in the $100 a month just to offset our cost, I mean, that would just be fantastic. I mean, that would just be a huge ego boost, I guess, is
Yeah.
maybe the best way to put it, is that hey, somebody actually cares enough to actually give us $3 to so we can
Right.
produce this thing,
Yeah. Now my kids don't have a choice. I told
Right.
them, I was like, y'all don't have a choice. You're going to have to. So, we'll have a couple of them locked in or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it is for, I want everybody to know, if you decide to do that, it is for the podcast. You're not buying me beer or anything like that. This
No
is
more
to make the
whiskey.
podcast.
I quit drinking while we're done too. So it's just water now. So there's I don't even have a whiskey cup anymore.
But you know what? You see what I still have.
Right? Oh boy,
So still knocking them down.
got his tea and his green tea over there.
But anyway, that's out of the way. What else we got?
So the other thing that we've got is I'm a little leery to announce it, but I want to announce it. The only problem is it's still in development at this stage in time. Is we are going to release a limited edition Off the Rails podcast hat.
Yes, you heard it right here, folks.
So, and that hat is the same thing as what we just kind of talked about a Patreon. It is a fundraiser. I don't want to sugarcoat it or put it any other ways. It's just a way to help us kind of backfeed some of the expenses with getting all these account memberships back up and running, and to allow us to sustain again. So it is going to be a limited edition. We are going to sell 12 of them. That is it. 12 to the public. I have to buy 2 for my own house, and then 2 for your house, I think. So I think there were only going to be 16 of them made.
Yeah.
And
that's
ever. Yeah, we're going to do hats again, but they're going to be like this hat, the production hat, not the relaunch hat. The relaunch hat will be a one-time deal. It's going to be super cool. I promise you. I'm a hat guy. I'm not going to lead you astray. Nice hat. Richardson 112 hats with sewn on patches that you'll not see anywhere else. And we're going to sell them for $50. They're $50 each. And we're going to sell them direct. So the way to do that will be just to email. And we have a new email address because the internet is weird. So it's Offcuts, no S's at all. Offcuts with a Z, Style Boys with a Z. Yeah, email us or hit us on Instagram and let us know you want one. We'll earmark you, and then you'll Venmo us the $50, and we're going to ship you a hat directly. Mitch is in charge of shipping because everybody who knows this knows I don't actually follow through with shipping anything.
Yeah, and I'll ship it out to you guys. But again, that is, you don't want to do Patreon, right? I don't want to sign up for that. I'll forget about it. I ride around with $3 in my checking account. It'll put me in the hole, whatever your situation is. This is another avenue for you to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy a hat. And again, the proceeds from that are going to go directly into the podcast account. So we just appreciate it. And if you have questions on this, you can email, like I said, allboys.com. You can DM us, Facebook, Instagram, cell phone, whatever you want to do. And we'll answer any questions you have. But we want to give this thing, we're trying to go big.
We're trying to go big. We're trying to go for real this time. It's been fun, and we're not coming at you with, like, I don't want you to feel like you're in church and the preacher is begging on you to throw everything you got in the offering plate. That's not what this is. Okay.
We don't need 10% of what you have.
No, don't need 10%. And I hate to open it up with a money thing, but we are excited about this. We're excited about the relaunch, and we're excited about these things because we're excited about having the Patreon and be able to do like a limited live Q&A thing. That's what that will lead to. That will be exclusive.
Here's a question for you. What if I don't want to pay you a cotton picking dime, or buy one of your stupid hats, or sign up for Patreon? Am I just not going to get the podcast now? How does that work?
No, I'll just give you the last name of Johnson. You can move in with the rest of my family, and then you can listen to the podcast for free. Like everybody else.
It's still going to be, we're still going to offer the podcast. So, don't think you have to pay to listen. This is just something to help us out, extra wise if you want to. So,
I mean, we probably should be paying people to listen to us, if the truth be told.
Well, if we get enough Patreon members that feel bad enough for us, we could pay somebody 50 cents an episode to listen or something. We never know.
One person.
Yeah. Because look, I've got new earbuds. We both have 4K cameras. I bought new light bulbs for the fan. I've got a new keyboard. I've got a new mouse. I've got a tripod now. I mean, I had to clean my office. So you guys, the amount of sacrifices that we have made Look
Right.
at Travis. He built a whole entire. He's got a fake plant for crying out loud.
This is real. What are you talking about?
That's real.
No, it's real fake.
Yeah. I've not seen you water that plant one time.
Well,
You should though, like
we
randomly.
did. We did water it because it was dusty when we got it, so we had to get the dust off of it.
All right, once an episode, I need you to get like a bottle of water and just dump a little bit down in there.
You know, my granddad growing up, my granddad used to water all the artificial plants outside. It was just one of those things he did, you know, just to
Well.
make me laugh. I mean, I knew they were fake, but he'd come through there with the water pitcher and tip a little bit in there.
I'm not going to tell you how many fake apples I, got out of somebody's bowl on the dining room table. You remember that
Yeah.
back in the
Oh
day?
yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's plastic or whatever.
Wax ones.
Well, that's so. We're also going to try. Can't promise anything, but we're going to try to do some. What's going on?
Oh, this
Oh,
new camera
no.
really, really likes Mitch.
I don't know what's happening. It's
What's happening?
That was completely random. All right, well, I'm just gonna keep going. I forgot completely.
We're gonna try, but you can't promise.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do maybe a few interviews.
Yeah.
by
We've
some
got
people.
one. We've got one lined up.
We've got one. We'll announce, maybe when we have a date or something. But these are people that you might have heard of. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, he's gonna be on episode 2. We know that. We've got him locked in. So he'll be on the episode 2 of the relaunch, episode 97. I don't know what to call it. I have
Whatever.
no
It's
idea
not
what to call
important.
this thing.
But here's the one of the last things I'll say about pushing the new one is you're going to see a lot of it on Facebook, but we really, really need you guys on Facebook, like, comment, share, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because this thing is going to be analytic driven, right? So Facebook is pretty big. A lot of you guys went to YouTube apparently from Facebook. And I don't know if, yeah. And I don't know if that was like a direct link or how exactly that worked. We're still
I'm gonna
trying
have
to
to
figure
get.
out.
I'm gonna have to assume that that's guys in the cabinet page and in the cabinet pages that are just directly, that we're posting to, and they're directly following us from there. So thank you for that, guys, because I feel like that's where 90% of that traffic is coming from.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, that's literally we can't share it, but so many times, and we're isolated to our audience. Whenever you share it, now you show it to potentially 100, 200 more people that we don't even know, and then one of them shares it. You know how it is. That's just the way it is.
It's the way the algorithm works.
Yep, and that's free. That don't cost you anything. Just go there, hit the share button, whatever. So
yeah, whether you think we're stupid or whether you think we're funny, tell somebody to listen to us. That'd be great.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, man. And then I guess the other thing was, how about that intro video? Like that.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
It's sad to say, but AI has come a long way since the last episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah, boy, it really has.
Now some of that stuff is not. You had some stuff done.
Yeah, we had that all done. We had the intro professionally done, and then the cartoon at the beginning. So if you're just listening on this on audio at all and you have no idea what we're talking about, jump on YouTube and at least watch the intro cartoon.
Yeah,
I think it's funny. It's not very long, but I think it's funny. It's us to a T. It just is.
That's right.
The voiceover guy's instructions. I
tell them. Yeah.
When we were doing the whole thing for the voiceover, the guy said, "So what are you wanting?" And I literally said, "I want 70s game show, and I want you to touch cheesy and back off just a hair." And by God, I think he nailed it.
He nailed it, man. He nailed it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, we really want this thing to get some wheels to it. We're just super happy with it. And I'm going to regret that I didn't look, but we just recently had a gentleman reach out to us not too long ago on Facebook Messenger and was asking us a lot of questions about, actually leaving and starting his business full time, and asking for some more information. And that one guy was probably one of the main catalysts lately. There's been some other individuals who have reached out who have thrown a log on the fire, so to speak. But this gentleman really was so engaged and was actually going back and re-listening to some of the episodes, And that just really gave us the encouragement of saying, if we can help 5 people start their own business, or, and take that jump. And even if, and I hate to say it, three of those would, 2 or 3 of those might fail, but those individuals will not wonder, should I have tried? You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
and I think that's been the greatest gift of my life, was having the family support to go out and do my own thing, and then to jump and actually do it. Um,
Yeah. And that
it
guy's name, I'll just do first name because I don't know if he wants his business, but it was Adam.
it was Adam. That's
Yep.
right.
Adam was his name. So,
Yeah. So Adam, thank you for reaching out, and being a fan, and giving us that encouragement, because it really came at just the right time that we were in conversation. And then when you messaged, I think you messaged me last. You'd already been in some conversations with Mitch, but when you messaged me, that really ignited the catalyst. Because I didn't really know if I wanted to come back and fire it up again. I really didn't, because nothing has slowed down any
right.
at either shop. I mean, but we just said, all right, well, if we do it, let's just set some ground rules of how we're going to do it. We can't sit down once a week for 4 hours. I mean, if you get 3 hours, 3.5 hours of content, well, we've sat down for 4.5 hours.
Yeah, there's a
You know,
pre-show and a post-show, and and also, I mean, you have you're editing all that once a
yeah.
week. I mean, you're trying
Hallelujah,
to,
AI has gotten better. That's fixing to help a lot.
yeah.
But
So we're just trying, and I know, for some of you that are listening to the first short podcast of this podcast episode, it might be all this, but we've been gone a long time, so you're gonna have to listen to us kind of explain to you guys while you're sanding or driving or whatever. You ain't got nothing else to do. You're just sitting
yeah,
there working, so just pay attention.
and if
Stop
you want to hear
complaining.
the full story, like how Mitch and I came to be, we're not going to get into that right now, because it will continue to come out. We'll continue to
Yeah.
discuss that. But go back to episode 1. Episode 1, season 1, episode 1. We kind of really tell the whole story of how we got started and how we became to be the Style
Mm-hmm.
Boys.
Yep.
And so that's a great story. The audio, look, there's those first like 5-6 episodes. There's some audio issues in there. Nobody's denying that. Just work through them. I think the content. I honestly think the content is worth the listen and dealing with the audio. There's one or
Yeah.
two episodes that's got like an echo in it. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just two country bumpkins who have no flipping clue. Like,
Nope.
still don't. Still,
Nope.
still don't. We've just watched a few more YouTube videos. We've read a few more articles, and we're just willing to take another shot at it. But
Yeah, we don't even know if this is going to work, but we're trying it. So
this might not be even recording. I don't know for sure, 100%. My producer
my
rolled her
screen
eyes
is
at
so
me
far
and
away.
says, "Well, the producer rolled her eyes and said I would have told you if it was not recording."
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
speaking of producer, what is her? Hey Kim, what is she doing over there?
well, she's really trying not to listen to us, and ordering some HelloFresh, it looks like.
Oh,
Yes.
well, she's
Yes.
worth $50 an hour, man.
Right? Well, she'll spend $50 an hour.
That's exactly. She's in the room with you right now.
Yes. Yes. She's
Okay,
right,
so
right
just
there. Yep.
yeah.
That's a
So
bird
I'm just
finger.
saying. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Be careful.
Well, I didn't take any way object. So there, she could throw stuff at me from my desk for days, because
Right.
my desk is covered in crap.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
at least 4 tape measures over there that I could get
Oh,
impaled
those are gonna
with.
hurt.
Yeah.
Those are gonna hurt. So there's
So catch me up. Where are you at? What's new? Tell
all right.
me what's new first.
Well, we got a lot of catching up to do. So I'll tell you, how do you want to do it? You want to just kind of go what's going on right now, or catch up? Because we've got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
Give me the high points of what's happened while we've been gone.
Okay, so
Because you're no longer homeless.
right. So kind of where we left off was my foot was no good, and I was building a house.
Well, that's true. Your
Um,
foot was all jacked up.
Right. So I'm out of the boot. I'm glad to say. Year and a half later.
Yeah. That only took a few months.
Right. As far as surgeries go, that was probably, because I've had a few, that was probably the easiest one to go through.
Because
No
you were still in the
issues with
boot
it.
when I was down there working with you.
Right. So did a few cabinet jobs in the boot, and that's not fun. But anyway, yep, came through that, obviously out of the boot now, no issues. And for those of you who may not know, I had a huge heel spur that had to be cut off. So in the boot for a while we were building the house. And look, there we go. What is it? My hand? Oh, you know what I bet it
Oh, I
is?
bet it is. I bet it's got your gestures.
Look at
Yep.
there. Huh?
You have your gestures still turned on your camera.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Uh,
what are you like
but
waving it in? Like
I don't know what I was doing. I got to keep my hands down here. I don't know what to do with my hands. But anyway, yeah, out of the boot, heals fine. It's completely healed up, no issues whatsoever. We moved in the house April of 2024. Best decision I've made. It was building the house. We did have an issue, not related to the builder or anything like that. It was another trade, and I'm not gonna on this episode. We're not gonna
would
get into all
anybody
that.
guess that it involved water?
What are the chances? We had two instances of water leaks.
Right.
Yeah, one before we ever even moved in. We had the tub was leaking. Look at this. Look at this. I fixed that. Look, I fixed to fix this. I promise you. The tub was leaking.
This is hilarious.
And I don't
I
even
wouldn't
know how
expect
to go through
anything
it now.
less. I wouldn't expect anything less to happen right now than for your camera to be picking up your hand gestures. That is
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Boom, got
amazingly
it off.
funny.
I got it turned off, so maybe
Okay.
it won't do it. Sorry about these new fancy cameras, man.
I know,
That's
right?
how they are. But anyway,
Because we
yeah.
can't afford camera operators. We have to get automatic cameras.
Let me tell you something. You do not want JoJo in here holding the camera because you got 3
No.
seconds.
No.
And you're going to be out there throwing a ball with a little bit or something.
Yeah.
So,
And or you'll unplug your monitor and
so anyway, I had to call the plumber back. Slight leak. Of course, we didn't see it. It was going under the flooring, and walked around and kind of felt it under the floor. Everybody's freaking out, so we had to get all that stuff taken care of. No issue with that after that. And then the other one was the air conditioner. Apparently, when you install ACs for living, you should know that you have to turn the water diverter a certain way when you lay the air conditioner on its side. He didn't do that. So the whole time we were in the house, we had water going down the ductwork and down through JoJo's ceiling. He's got a big spot on the ceiling that we have to fix now. Excuse me. But that AC guy no longer works for the builder.
yeah, he got replaced.
So the new AC guy came in and said, yeah, your entire inlet has fallen off. So the big return box that comes into the unit was completely off the end of it, soaking wet, weighed 80 pounds, no strapping, no anything. Ceiling was messed up. And I thought it was the drain backing up. And so I would go up there, man, and I poured 80 gallons of Clorox down that stupid drain. I've blown it out. I've sucked it out. I've, juggled a coat hanger down
this is
in
a
there.
family show. This is a family show.
Yeah, juggled it down in there. You got to juggle it. But anyway, did all that. And finally I called the builder and I was like, I got water on the ceiling and I don't know what to do. And he was like, So, and, props to him. Even though he didn't make the mistake, he stood behind what he did. He was like, hey, we'll get it fixed. And I was like, well, we can talk about it or whatever. And he's like, nope, I'll handle it. So he handled it all on the backside. The new AC guy that he hired came in and got everything fixed. So, at the end of the day, we got to do a little bit of a repair. Luckily, it didn't get any of the ceiling joists or the wood wet. It was just right at the sheetrock joint. So
Yeah.
I can't get away from water damage. Oh, and also the water coming in was leaking. And I was 100% on me. I didn't have something tight enough. So I had to go dig all that, the shut off valve and all that stuff back up.
Is that why the inspectors want to see purple when they come in and inspect water lines? They want to see that primer.
Yep. And this was a little threaded piece that went in there. But anyway, we got all that stuff fixed. But as far as the home, man, I mean, we absolutely love it. It's home. Because when we bought this place, it was just woods back in there. And you always feel like you're in somebody else's house. So when we tore down the other house and built this, the landscape completely changed, the road changed, driveway, everything. And so it's like we're not at that place anymore. We're at a new place.
Yeah. And it's been yours from the jump too, so it really feels like home. Nobody.
Yeah, Papaw didn't die in it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, we got that. But those are the two major updates. We're loving it. Cabinets hadn't fall. I did have a plate break.
Really?
On the refrigerator door. Yep. we no longer use that brand, but wasn't real happy about that. So
Oh, and the wife's still letting you live with her,
she is.
and she's
She
still
is.
agreeing to live with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
For now. Now we do have a split king mattress. I don't know if that's a bad sign, but
Nah, that's not the
whatever.
size. That's not the start of anything. I wouldn't have any real concerns there. No. No. All the kids have grown.
Yeah.
You've had one change status from
Yep.
student.
Yep. So Riley has graduated
Yeah.
from homeschool. So that's, who knows if that's even a real thing. I don't know. She's done with school. We're like, yeah, that's good enough.
The law no longer requires her to
That's right.
do
Yeah.
things.
And you homeschoolers, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. He's just like, that's
Yeah,
good enough.
yeah.
Let's just, you figure it out. So she had one waitressing job that she didn't really like. And then she had another waitressing job that she did like, but didn't like some of the people there. Then she had another waitressing job that was her favorite. There's a really good company, treated her really well, and stuff. But of course, in the restaurant business, if you're a waitress, you work Friday and Saturday night. Well, she's got a boyfriend. And here's the thing about homeschoolers and boyfriends and girlfriends. If they'll date you, but if they're not interested, it's only going to last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
If they are interested in you, that's it. It's locked in. You're locked in with them. That's, you don't, it's just so wild to see that, because keep Kim away from the microphone when I say this, but you remember how I was in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're not like that. They're just
Right.
like, hey, I like this one. We're going to stay there. So,
Well,
the
and her
funny-
boyfriend was also he was a senior as well, and he was playing football and stuff too.
he's a senior this year.
Senior this year, okay.
Yeah, he's
But-
a year behind her.
But he was
Yeah.
in athletics. I mean,
That's
so
right.
she would want to go to games and stuff, you
Yep.
know, and
Yep.
see her boyfriend play football.
That's it. And so then she got him a job. She goes, if I can't see you, then you're going to come and get a job with me during the summer at the restaurant. And he's like, okay, I'll do anything from a woman. So he goes and gets a job at a restaurant. And then she's like, I think I'm done with the restaurant. And she came to me one day and she said, Dad, I'm not making any money. And I'm having to work every Friday and Saturday night. I don't have a weekend. I can't go and do these things or whatever. And she goes, can I come work for you? And man, the amount of joy I had, I was like, tomorrow, you can come tomorrow. Like, and she goes, well, I have to put in a notice. So she did that. And she's been with me now, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, somewhere around in there.
It might be a tad bit longer than that.
Yeah.
it
And she
seems
doesn't do
like.
40 hours because at our house, you have other things to do besides work. There's chores, and she was finishing school whenever, she started out here. So her hours are still, she's kind of part-time, but she also doesn't have any bills. So it's working out really good right now. And we'll see. But she loves it, man. And she'll say, she messes with Trey all the time. She's like, when I own this place, you're going to have to do this and going to have to do that. And I was like, easy.
Yeah.
Easy now. Easy. Speaking of Butter Smooth,
I
he's
was going
still
to
here.
say, so Butter Smooth is still there.
He's still here.
I wish you could turn your camera around right now because he is so there. He has a recliner in your office now.
He did bring a recliner into the office.
I'm going to tell you something. If you guys have a business and your employees don't have a recliner in your office, you're doing things wrong.
You think morale's pretty good? He's like,
it's decent. It should be at a decent level there. I mean, for sure.
I don't even know. I think his great grandmama got that thing from, I don't know.
I'm sure 3
Argentina
people
or
have died
something.
in that chair.
Well, absolutely.
There's
It's
no doubt
old.
about it.
Smells a little funny, but I can't smell it from where I'm at.
Right.
But yeah, it's an old school, recliner. He'll come in here, man, and he'll plop down in it, and he'll, take his break or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Bring it in here. Got a new office chair.
Yeah.
That was another expense for the podcast. It was almost, this thing was almost 2 hats.
2. Geez, man.
Yeah.
That's a very nice chair then.
Yeah.
I had to go to Marketplace and find this thing.
Well, yours is a little bit more professional looking. I got to do something with all this.
Well, it just keeps me here. It
yeah.
it's a whole vibe in this new shop. Like it really kind of goes with the other office as well. So
Yep.
it's one of those things.
But we'll get into some other stuff, but that's basically it. We're still
Well, hold
building
on.
cabinets.
You got. Well, we done hit on it, so we might as well back up. You got two other children. What's up with them? How's everybody?
Tommy,
Producer Tommy is no longer producer Tommy. What is he
no,
now?
he was working at a machine shop.
He
Funny
sent me some
story
bad
there.
news today.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
texted me.
So yeah, he was working at a local machine shop and can go back when he gets old enough.
Right.
So I don't know what happened, but apparently they didn't have some certificates that the state would like you to have to hire a 16-year-old. And then even if they did get all the certificates and everything, he's because our government knows what's best for us. He can't weld and he can't grind, he can't cut, he can't drill, he can't, use a bandsaw, he can't paint, he can't do anything at a machine shop. So the owner was like, "Look, we're going to have to call it. You're welcome to come back when you get old enough." So he didn't leave on bad terms. And I kind of figured maybe something like that was going to happen.
Or of his own accord, wasn't his choosing.
Right. Yeah. He wouldn't just said, I don't want to do this anymore and I quit. So
So
yeah,
he wants us to talk about child labor laws one day and how stupid they are. But I think I think as he progresses through life, he'll see that they're there for a reason.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Probably
can't
people like me.
back him up 100%. Well, that was the first thing I said. I said, "What did your dad do to you?" When he said he was like these child labor laws, I was like, "Wait, have you been wronged by your dad, or did something happen at your real job? Like what?" I need some context to this topic.
Hey, buddy, he's put in some hours with me. I can promise you that. But yeah, and then JoJo, the youngest, he's 13 now, so
Good
he is
God.
a teenager, and he looks like a teenager, but worse than that, he smells like a teenager. So yeah, he's gonna have to, we're like, hey, deodorant every day during this
Yes.
part of your life. He's starting to like.
Every day is a shower day. You don't just pick calendar days for a shower. It's every
That's
one of
it.
them.
That's it. Softball season is over with, so you can imagine Thomas and Joseph in Alabama in August or July playing softball,
Right.
getting in the car and riding home.
And they ride in the bed of the truck home.
Yeah. So that's been our life. Now Thomas has got a girlfriend. She's a little bit older than him. So Riley's boyfriend is younger. His girlfriend is older. So I don't know what's up with these younger boys and these older girls. I don't know. I mean, hey, I don't have a problem with it,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying.
Well, I sent him a
But
message the other day. I said, "Hey, did your dad warn you about dating up? Like, you got to be careful about that. Like,
got to be careful
because she knows. She knows she knows she's a level above you, right? Like, you're not equal." And he's like, "Yeah, he warned me, but I ain't listen."
Yeah, don't try to pull no wool over her eyes. She's been there and done that.
Right? She's a
But I
more
mean,
mature woman. She knows. I didn't realize she was older.
yeah, she's homeschooled. She's also in college. Also works two jobs. Thomas is working two jobs with the machine shop and with cutting grass and stuff on the weekends. Now he's trying to help the grass cutter guy out more. And he's also starting to look and see, this just happened a week ago. So it's not like he's been loafing off his mom and dad. And he's worried about it, dude. And I'm kind of proud of that. He's like, man, I ain't supposed to be just not having anything to do.
Well,
So,
he's got that girlfriend to support now. I got to keep her. He's
buddy,
got to make sure he doesn't lose any status.
when I tell you guys how tight this young man was with money, like, I mean, he would not spend it. And then here she comes and he's like, Dad, we're going out to eat. Hey, we're going to go grab something. We're going to go grab something. I'm like, you better be grabbing another job, homeboy, because you got gas going out. And then he had to buy tires and oil changes and food. And so he learned real quick, man, that's part of it. But yeah, they're actually in a college program called FBI, not that FBI, but it stands for Faith Bible Institute. So they're actually in Bible college together, and they don't go to a college. It's all done in small group and online. So I tell you what, I'm blessed, man. Riley and Ty, they do not miss a church service. They go Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. They're involved with a lot of stuff at their church. Thomas and his girlfriend, they're in FBI together. They go to church together. They do stuff together. And I don't know, I'm not saying they're perfect or any. Don't hear me saying that, but I'm saying it could be a lot worse than what it
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah.
You know, with especially with kids today. So we're proud of all of them, man. We try to support them, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Joseph, he's starting to kind of, when a girl walks by, he'll, Dad, you know, and thought he had one that he was gonna square up with on the softball team, but that wound up being a dud. And I was like, hey, you gotta get used to that.
I mean, he took that lick to the eye. That should have impressed her a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
he
then
took that one like a champ.
and then, so he got hit in the softball during practice, and then the next day he played in the game.
I mean, he was swole up pretty good, and I saw it. That was a couple of days, wasn't it? Or
Yep.
a week later.
Yep.
I mean, and it was still pretty closed up.
Yeah, we make Chinese jokes? Yes. I'm not ashamed of that. But we did. And then his first game back, he got hit square in the back with a softball at second base, and he had a perfect circle welt on his back while his eye was swollen up on the front. And I'm like, if he's got to go to the hospital, we're going to have some splaining to do, man.
Right.
Because
Oh,
they're going to haul us off to jail.
yeah. This is also the same kid that Mitch at one point in time threatened to cut his spine out with a hubcap. Just if you need to go,
but
if you need to go back a few episodes to figure that one out. But so he's kind of tough. He's kind of been around,
Yeah. And one of my favorite stories is one of the builders, him and his dad work together, Brandon and his dad work together. And so they like to mess with the kids and joke on them and stuff. And so one day Brandon's dad was walking by Joseph, and Joseph was minding his own business, and he jumped at him like that. And Joseph just slowly turned his head and looked at him, and that man said, he told Brandon, he said, you better watch that one right there. Brandon said, why? He said, I jumped at him. He didn't even move. He didn't flinch. So ever since then, both of them been trying to jump scare Joseph and have been unsuccessful.
Them two older siblings have trained him up.
Yeah.
So you got Brandon still around. So you still got both builders, same guys, still working for the same guys.
Yep, still got them. The other builder, we did his house a couple years ago, and it's for sale right now. And he said something about the cabinets wasn't no good, so he's just going to sell the whole house. Let me tell you something. Did I send that to you, by the way, his house listing? I don't think I did. Basketball goal inside, workout room inside, pool table upstairs, complete theater upstairs, rock climbing wall upstairs. So it's like, he's got I didn't realize it was going to have all that stuff in it when I was putting the cabinets in, but he's got it
you
for
helped
sale.
him pay for a good third of that, probably at least,
Yeah. So, and I saw what he was selling it for, and I was like, that's more than what I thought that house was worth.
Right. Well, all of them now are going for more than what they're worth. But
yep, that's the market we live in. It's crazy.
I don't know if you paid attention to the sale prices of houses since you've moved in, but it's they
were high when I was building. That's why we built.
Yeah,
I could build for less than what I could buy, a hunk of junk for. So, but he's already moved into the next house, but he didn't have an attic access door. So he wanted me to build him one, and I went over there one day and hung it up. So, well, good luck on selling it there, buddy, since you didn't like my cabinets. But you got to think, man, we all cut him a deal on that house.
Yeah.
I think pretty much because he gives us a lot of work every year.
Right.
So he's building him a house, so we can take, $grand or $2 off or whatever, depending on what you're doing. And so it was a lot of hubbub going around, and we were asking each other, what'd you take off and how much did you take off and this and that. And I said, I didn't know we were taking any off. And they're like, well, we're just trying to help him out. And I said, okay, well,
he don't need no help. He don't need.
And I mean, he had countertops left over from jobs. He had sinks, and he had rock and brick. He probably built that house for $13,000, man. I mean,
and I will sell it for 2.5.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, that's good on you.
Right.
Good on you. But yeah, that's a short little recap. We're, still saying we've updated a lot of stuff in the shop. We'll get into that later.
Boy, you've changed some stuff.
Yeah. Tools. So yeah, what about you?
Oh, Jesus. So obviously she still let me live with her because she agreed to come up here on Sunday and, monitor the show so we could produce it. So Everything's going good there. We actually just a couple of days ago did our 24th wedding anniversary. So
Hmm?
that wasn't too long ago. Got
Next year's a
one.
big year, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah, in several ways. So next year is our 25th wedding anniversary, and both of our kids, oldest one graduates from college, and the youngest one graduates from high school.
Oh, man.
So we are looking forward to the house being empty for sure. Um,
Y'all could eat Mexican like twice a week.
I know, right? Which the youngest one, she works enough that it's almost like she's gone already. She works at the famous Holy Chicken place. Um, and has worked there for a couple of years, and she loves it. I mean, it's a good environment, good work environment, but she works good bit. And this year, I think she's got like one or two classes. She gets out at like 12 o'clock, and then she's going to work. So so I mean, all's good there. Yeah, we've moved shops. So Derek and I have actually combined our shops together. So he no longer has the Nashville location, my little residential location that Mitch helped me wire when I had the bum shoulder. Just listen to that. I re-listened to that episode the other day while I was at the gym. You were making fun of me because I couldn't lift my arm up.
You couldn't hit the applause button during the
Right.
podcast, too. You remember that?
Yep. And just so you know, it's still a little jacked up. I just want you to know it's still not 100%, but I doing like every other guy in the blue collar world does. Don't care. Just got to keep
Yep.
working.
Move it.
Right. But no, so we moved into a more of an industrial location. We're actually on an industrial road with other manufacturers. So the front offices here, we have probably, I don't know, about 1,000 square feet of office space. So when you first come in, there's an office on the left, which is Derek. There's a center room, which we use as kind of a flex space, break room type kind of area, and then my office is on the right. It's crazy. I went from no bathrooms to 4 bathrooms.
And I want to stop you. And stop. All right. You people listen up out there. Because he just said some pretty powerful stuff there, if you don't mind. If you don't
Okay.
mind.
No, I'll sit back and let you drive.
When Travis got started, he was in a garage with, I don't even know if you had 220 power.
I did not. I had 3 outlets, 110
This man
outlets.
started in a garage with 3 outlets. Okay. And then he said, well, I'm doing good enough. I think I can do good enough to rent a place. So then you rented the goat farm.
The goat farm. Basically a pole barn with sides on it.
I mean, no insulation. Guys, I was there in the summer. In the summer. And I said, Travis, this is not, like, this isn't even safe. And it's hot in my shop, but we have, we got wind blowing. I was like, dude, this is not safe. This is not, I don't know how you did it. There's like dead animals show up. Remember all that? And we talked about that in the podcast.
Yeah.
There was goats that got out.
Yeah, you go out to put something in your trailer, and you go out to carry a cabinet out to your trailer, and there's a goat standing in the middle of your trailer.
But that was an upgrade because you were like, golly, I'm not in my garage.
Oh yeah, I had
Look
power.
At this place.
I had power out the wazoo. I had room. I had 10-foot ceilings. I could flip a sheet of plywood around. I mean.
Yeah, but your drive, dude, and your determination, that was great where you were at.
Yeah.
You were proud of that. You were happy to have it.
Yeah.
And then you went into the next shop, which is when I went up there and helped you out. And man, that was just like the Taj Mahal, dude.
Well, boy, I thought I'd been somewhere, I mean, it was great. Insulation. I had a wood stove, from the winter, that actually produced some heat. I had pavement to drive on. I had a good place to park my trailer. There was no wildlife. I had a dog that liked to pee on my tires, but that was not that bad. Very good very good landlords. I mean, we're great,
you were
great
able to
people.
do what you needed to do in there, and they didn't give you a hard time. Dumpster was another issue, but that wasn't on the landlord.
No, but finally got that resolved, and that was not a problem anymore.
Yeah, and now
didn't have a bathroom though. Didn't have any running water. That
hurt.
So eventually, I did get porta-johns. That happened after I think we quit recording. I did eventually get a porta-john out there that they serviced every other week, which was nice. I mean, it was nice to have. I mean, it
It beat that bucket you were going in,
Yeah, yeah, it come in handy a couple of times, for sure. And I had it inside. I actually had it in the building.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they would roll
Yeah.
up. I had it right there at the garage door, and they would just roll up the garage door. They would service it, and then they would drive off.
But what if the landlord was like drinking coffee in the morning, looked out his window, and you had like a stomach attack, and he sees you just running across the yard, like
Right.
holding your rear end, and you jump in the porta potty. Like 30 minutes later, you come out, you're like,
Woo!
"Whoo, boy, I didn't know if I was gonna make it." Hey, Mr. Steve, how you doing
Yeah,
today?
yeah, yeah. Luckily that I never had to run to the creek.
Yeah.
I mean that
And
was.
now you're in a commercial place.
Yep.
You merged with Derek.
We
You
have
know,
3-phase power. We have
man,
four
that's
four bathrooms.
offices.
Nice office space. Yeah, I mean they
Yeah.
they had just remodeled the office space, so it's super nice. I have a bathroom in my office. Derek has a bathroom in his office. There's a bathroom in the lobby, if you want to call it that, the break room, and there is actually another restroom and actually in the shop that is air conditioned.
So, I mean, I just wanted to stop and point that out. Went from a garage with 3 outlets to a commercial space and air conditioned offices and bathrooms and
And
all
it's been
that.
and it's been scary. Don't get me wrong, because each one of those moves, the rent has increased.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
so does production.
it does, and that's the thing that's hard to equate. I mean, so the garage was obviously essentially free, all the way up to now. I mean, we split a building that is $5,000 a month. I mean, so now we're at $2,500 a month in rent. I am, which is like what was it, like $1,200 more than the last shop, I think. I mean, make a $1,200 a month swing is it's scary. Like it's not for the faint of heart, you know.
Yeah.
But
No.
you got to look at what it does for you overall.
Yeah. And I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are your goals to be shop wise, house wise, shop wise 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I'd like for there not to be a shop at all, and I'm sitting at the beach. But I don't, I don't know that that's actually gonna. There's a very slim chance that that it ever gets to that point. But now if I have a shop in Florida and I'm on the beach on the weekends, then I'm okay with that.
Getting
We're
$1,200 a linear foot for cabinets?
yeah.
I'd
I
do
mean, we're
that.
we're we're kind of on a 2.5, 3 year plan right now. Like we don't, we're planning on staying here for another 2 to 3 years, and we'll see. We want the girls to kind of settle and see where they want to be,
Hmm.
and see if going to the beach makes sense. If we don't want to be too far away from them, because obviously we're not rushing it, but obviously grandchildren are not too far out of our scope of things. um I mean, so that's a factor. I don't want to be to the point where we're not able to see kids as we want to. But also, I mean, the advantages of having kids young are that we can go do what we want to before we're so
Amen.
old we can't do it. I mean,
Amen, brother.
yeah, I mean, we've recently took up a new health initiative. I mean, we're working really hard to we're going to the gym every night, together, and trying to get a healthier lifestyle so that we're around, so that we're not hobbling, and we're able to spend quality time with grandkids. And I mean, we went to Universal not too long ago and walked it, and it was a little bit rougher on us than it was last time we went to Disney. And I was like, we're supposed to do this with grandkids at some point in time. Like we got to do something now, or we won't survive the walk. And I don't want to be in an obesity stroller,
Yeah.
making it through Universal. So it's interesting to be in these phases of life, and you're getting close. I mean, you're getting close to see that phase,
I
change
know it.
too. And it's fun though. I mean, we told our youngest daughter last night at dinner. I said, it's really fun, like as we evolve from parents to mentors. Like, with the oldest daughter now, the conversations are not so much of what should I do. It's, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you feel? What are your thoughts on it? We're
Hmm.
we're to that point where we're getting asked, we're being given a solution to a problem, and being asked for feedback on it, versus just throwing our hands up and going, I don't know what to do,
Yep.
and
Yep.
which is super fun. it's super fun to see that relationship change and to make you feel like you did something right, with kids that they feel like they still want to come to you and they still care about your opinion. Um,
Yeah. You
so
did
it's
something right, man. And you
well,
guys have always been super
knock on wood.
involved with your kids,
Sometimes a little
you
too
know.
involved, but I mean, we did we did recently learn Taylor, who is 22. Um, this was just a few months ago. We were at Universal during Mardi Gras, and she just learned how you get Mardi Gras beads.
Well,
So
I
maybe
meant
a
more
little
like,
too sheltered, but
yeah, I meant more like you guys were a constant in their life.
yeah,
Maybe that
yeah,
was,
yeah. But
like we are.
sometimes I wondered if we have we sheltered them a little too much from the outside
No, I don't think
world.
so. I don't
Know,
think so.
I know.
And that that's how, anyway, that's not for here, but that's something we'll get into one day.
It'll
They
come
have
up.
to know about it to avoid it.
That's true. That's true.
They have to know about it to avoid it. So what about, has anything major changed inside the shop? Are you still building cabinetry? Are you doing,
No, I
kind of
mean,
other things,
for the
or?
most part, I mean, I think the only thing that's really changed is that when we moved into here, we added a sliding saw to the armament of tools, to this tool selection. So and it's been great. It's got its drawbacks. So we can have a whole episode about a sliding saw if we want to. It does have drawbacks. I don't know that you could live without a regular table saw personally. And
Yeah.
have just a sliding saw. I know shops that do it. I've seen them. Maybe they're bigger saws than this, and it makes it easier. This one's not crazy big, just because we quickly ran out of square footage. But we put in racking. So we're buying plywood, the unit at a time. We have our own forklift now. That we're to move material around with. So the shop is about 4,000 square feet itself. So it's not big, but it's bigger than what we both had individually. But yeah, so now we've got that, and the CNC should be around September, October. I think we're tracking. That was one of the goals with this building, was that it had three-phase power. Is that we'll bring in a CNC machine. Now, when we bring the CNC machine, I think the traditional table saw will go away. We'll keep the sliding saw for various things and some furniture stuff that Derek does more of. But the table saw will then become a dado saw. The two dado saws, I still have both of those. Those will go away completely, because we'll have to eliminate some things to gain square footage,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And I don't think you'll ever stop doing that. That's the reason we've done
yeah,
some equipment stuff here,
yeah,
and a lot of this stuff, I mean, is it's what I call the festool effect. Sometimes it's, I call it the soft stop effect. But if you go online, the people who don't have festool are the ones that poop on it. The people who do have festool are the one, and that's just a tool brand, right? Let's just, for the simpletons out there that don't do this for a living, festool is a very good, high value tool, but they are expensive.
very high price. Yeah.
So if you have festool, you love festool. If you don't have it, you poo poo. Oh, it's just overpriced, junk, and it ain't worth. Soft stop is the same way. If you have a soft stop, like I do, you love the soft stop. It can do no wrong. If you don't, then a lot of them old timers, and it's not everybody, but a lot of people are like, well, that's stupid. You don't need that. Just keep your hand out of the blade. You know how that whole thing goes. So sliders, my point is, sliders are the same way. A lot of people who don't have sliders don't know a lot about them, so they're of no information. But then again, the people that do have them, they just about won't say anything negative about them. So
Well, I didn't
when
touch it. I didn't touch it for weeks. I just would, because the my table saw that we brought over had a slider table on it. So I would just get out the fence. I would put my slider back on just like I did all the time.
mm-hmm,
But now I'm like, why would I do that? Like
yeah,
I make my rips, and then I turn around and I throw that rip piece on the slider, and I make my cross cuts.
yeah.
I just utilize both of them. But
And
at
I wish
first I didn't want anything to do with it.
Right. And I wish people were more honest like that on Facebook and stuff. Hey, I'm thinking about getting a slider. Oh, once you get a slider, that's it. That's all you ever need. You won't ever need another slider because I have one, and and the people without them are like, you don't need a slider to, build cabinets or whatever.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know how you would ever run a full sheet of plywood through a slider efficiently, because it is not fun re-zeroing the fence back out. At least on this Grizzly, it's not fun. So we don't take the fence. The fence is zeroed. It does not come off. And to use the sliding table with a full sheet of plywood, you would have to take the fence off. Off the slider. There's another fence that goes to the right of the blade, like a traditional saw, but you would have to take the slider fence off, and I don't want to go through that process every time. It's too long. The indexing for it is not. It's not great. It's not user friendly.
It's not meant for on off, on off, on off, on off.
It's really not.
Yep.
But
And that's important, buddy, because you ain't got so many hours in a day, and you got to get boxes done.
Yeah.
But I think once you guys get the CNC though, I think ripping table saw, crosscut sliding saw, CNC handle 99% of whatever you need.
Yeah.
And then you'll be off to the races. I'll probably never have a CNC. I'll probably won't ever be able to afford one.
Well, I'm terrified of it. And there's going to be a tremendous learning curve. I'm with it coming in, and bits and all these feeds and speeds, and
Yeah.
oh my God, it makes my head hurt thinking about it.
I'll tell you right now, do not call me with a CNC
Right,
question.
right.
I'm out.
Well, it took me a year to get my pocket hole machine fixed. So thanks, Maxiwa.
I won't never forget that, man.
Let me tell you something.
Got some of the worst luck.
Yeah, well, I'll feel you guys. We'll jump on that subject later. And I'm not going to say Maxi was a terrible product, but my experience with this saw and customer service, I give it a big old.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is. The truth is the truth.
But if you ask Mitch, the Maxi with pocket hole machine, fantastic.
Never had issue out of it. I had to adjust the foot plate one time, but
it's just all in your experience with it. And it's a machine made by people. So and mine is post COVID. Nothing. I've found that nothing I've bought post COVID has been worth a toot, to be honest with you.
Right.
Anything pre COVID, just take the year model on it. And if it's pre COVID, it's probably a better option. But post COVID, anything.
And if you want,
it's been terrible.
Because there's probably nobody at work. They probably had to hire all kind of new people, and they had to cut a bunch of engineers and
but it's
whatever.
Still that way. It seems like it's still that way today. Like for something that was made last week.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
If you want good equipment, I can tell you what decade to go to, brother.
Right. Yep. Battleship decade.
Well, so good deal, man. We're just kind of relaxing and catching up, but everything's still going good. We're still making cabinets. So
yeah, lots of cabinets.
I'm still having to paint. Travis is not still.
I'm not taking that mantra up. I don't even know how long we've been recording. I don't have a timer on this.
It's 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 28 seconds.
That's not too bad. So
if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do a break so you know where to break it out and say sayonara if you're listening to this episode and hang on and we'll be right back, or what do you? Hey, do it live. We're doing it live.
I feel like we'll just do it live. I feel like we'll say, hey, for those of you are listening to the segmented sections, this is end of your first segment. And we hope that you have section 2 queued up in your playlist and you're just going to continue rolling. But yeah, we're going to call it here. We'll take a little break and start this thing back up.
That's it. Thanks for listening. And hold on, we'll be right back after these messages.
All right. Well, we'll kick off this next session. So we talked about a little bit in our changes about our email address changing, and we put it out there on socials already, and we got one email in particular that we wanted to talk about. So again, it's styleboys.com, all Z's, off cuts with a Z at styleboys with a Z.com. Super simple. Style, not Style, because none of us know how to dress. It's style, like a cabinet style. All right. Um, so the email comes from, do I say who from? Do you
You
say
can say Robo.
some from Robo? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, who I got to meet and hang out with in Atlanta a little bit. Cool dude. Fun. We had a good time hanging out with him. And we wanted to know what we could what we could talk about
Mm-hmm.
on the podcast. Like what would he like to hear? Now Robo works for a cabinet shop. So he was specifically tailoring his question to, to actual cabinetry, not, business or life or something else that we don't know anything else about either. But install. The nicks and tricks you've learned to boost efficiency, the tools or jigs that have helped accomplish this, the must haves you cannot do without, bring back tool of the week with the revamp. Super pumped.
Good deal, Robo. Yeah, Robo's a good friend of ours.
So we can handle all of those requests, actually,
We can do it. And we're going
believe
to
it
do
or
it
not.
live. We're going to do it right now.
Not
Go.
live. We're pre recorded and
as you're
listening
listening.
later. Yeah. But you
Yeah.
get the idea. You get the
Yeah.
idea. Okay. So, I don't know what nicks and tricks are. I know what tips and tricks are, but I hope we're not. I try not to nick my cabinets when I'm doing an install.
No nicking or knickers. We call them
And
pants. We call
close,
them
caution,
pants.
caution. But tips and tricks I have learned to boost efficiency. Let's take that one question first. What would you say a tip or a trick is that you have used to boost efficiency? I guess he's talking about. Let's just narrow it down to just install time, like install, because there's tons of tips and tricks overall. But what have you come up with?
So I got a nice and easy one. Bring a folding table to the install. It sits flat on the trailer against the wall. Bring a folding table, unfold it, set it in the living room or a neutral area out of the way, and put all your bits, your screws, your screwdrivers, your drills, all the normal stuff that you're going to be constantly picking up and putting down, put on that table. It keeps you from bending over. It keeps you from losing stuff. It keeps it all organized in one area. That was a huge game changer just by doing that.
Yep. I've took on a similar from being down there with you and going on an install or two while I was down there doing my mother-in-law's. I brought that back home. Now I didn't use the same table. I have a different table from Lowe's. I think it's because it's a Cobalt table. Um, it's actually a workbench table. But the reason why I chose this table is because I install unfinished, and a lot of times with unfinished stuff, we are tracking things. So, or track sawing things. I guess I should not short that. And this particular tabletop, I can use it as a surface to track saw items on.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like that work table you have, the table is kind of like two layered. It's kind of hollow in the center. So if I was to track and I was to nick the top of it, you would kind of mess up the integrity of it. But with these Cobalt tables, they're pretty solid. So if I nick the top, if I got the saw set a little too deep and I nick the top, who cares? No big deal. But I've kept that same philosophy. But yeah, but I just like the fact that when I want to go track saw something, I don't have to go find a surface to put it on, or a lot of times I don't even carry it outside. I just hook the vacuum up to the track saw, cut it right there, and we're rolling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a great thing.
Yeah, and just a couple more than 2 levels. Long, medium, short, something like that, and more than one ladder.
For sure. Yeah.
Now this is coming from, there's more than one guy there, obviously.
Yeah.
So now there's 3 of us that go on installs. So if we're doing,
do you have to say people now? Can you still say guys?
I'd say people.
You have to say people. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say this people, because she's just, she's a person. But yeah, so, okay, Riley, go hang all the plates and the overheads. I'm going to put all the shelves in overheads. Nope, you can't do that one ladder. So think about that. And, that's something quick, that we can do.
Yeah. I have 2 ladders that live on the trailer. And then we have a third one that we will take for certain installs if we need more height, if we need more distance. But and I found that having matching items is nice. Like, not I so the ladders they're the same. And but the reason I say that is because there was one point in time we had, one ladder that was one and one ladder was the other. So like when you would go up, you would kind of go up like different levels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it may seem kind of like not that big of a deal, but it's nice to like be able to be on the same plane as you move up something, and be at the same level as you go up something. Even though I'm the shortest person here, I'm still below, but it just seems nice. And I think it looks nice to customers too. Like when your things are uniform, I think it continues to show that quality of things not being hodgepodge together. I'm very much about that appearance. I mean, and not for vain purposes, but I want everything to to make you feel quality. You
It
know,
does a lot more for the customer than a lot of people think. It really does. I mean, if I pulled up in a rusty rust bucket, like I used to, and a junk trailer that, the barn door in the back wouldn't even hardly shut, they could immediately start looking for stuff when you get off.
and I'll say things like also your ladders, for example. Don't use your client ladders, the ladders you're going to use in a client's house. Those are not the ladders that you use for your house maintenance. No, oh, I got a ladder at the house, at the shop, and I'll go get it. And then next thing you know, you got muddy feet or, stained,
Yep.
mud stained feet on the bottom of these ladders. Like the ladders that go in clients' houses do not go out in the yard. Like
Yeah, keep them
just,
clean.
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
And it
those
makes
little things.
when I got, and this is just me, maybe not everybody's like this. When I got those Stabila levels,
Yeah.
I started looking at them more and I started trusting them more. And I was like, man, we can do a little bit better. Slide that wedge in another 16th of an inch. That stuff does play a part in it.
And the tip
Um,
and trick there with the Stabilas is buying the sleeves for them,
yeah.
because I know I can easily identify that I have all of my levels before I leave, which my levels don't leave the for 98% of my life, they don't leave the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
They're always on the trailer. But when I'm packing up the tools and I'm checking to see if I've got everything, I can check each pouch real quick. If you've got just levels just floating around loose, it's real easy to not have your 2 foot level. I mean, we've
Yeah.
almost left a 2 foot level on top of a cabinet before.
Man,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, but you grab that bag, you grab all those pouches real quick, and you're like, all right, I've got my stuff.
And that's another thing we do. All three of us do a walkthrough. We open doors. We make sure windows are down, doors are locked. Make sure behind a door somebody didn't leave a level or yeah. But you got to account for that stuff when you get back on the trailer. Make sure you have everything. But
I would,
that's the biggest one is a table and two ladders and stuff like that. So
and then I would say, like labeling stuff. So for example, well, kind of two things with labeling. So I've gotten to now where, when we go to an install, because a lot of times, like the guys, so like when Derek, which we don't have an intern anymore, he just recently left. But a lot of times Derek, he has an idea of what it's going to look like because he quoted it, and did all the pricing, but he might not necessarily remember. So I take a printout of what the install should look like finalized. And
hmm
I'm like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is this, this is this, this is this. And then each cabinet is also labeled as well. And having like you have a system for, like all your bases are B's, B1, B2, B3, and you're going to go left to right. And my system is very similar, even to the point where like my cabinets will start at 100. And so everything at 100 is this room. If it's another room, it's going to start at 200.
yeah,
We start the count at a completely different spot. That way, that this does not go to this room, and that applies to from the doors to the adjustable shelves. When you look and you see that too, well, immediately it doesn't go over here with all these 100s.
And that cuts down on time of you getting a shelf or a door or something on the install at the job site going, where's this cabinet at? We run into that a lot.
But it cuts
That's
down on
something.
questions
Yeah.
because if it's my install and it's like your install, like I'm the captain, right? Like I'm the one flying the ship. I've got all these other little details that I have thought about during the build, during the measurement process that I want to make sure that I remember. I don't need somebody asking me which room does this adjustable shelf go to. You know,
Hmm.
that adjustable shelf gets labeled, and that's a self-answering question. You know, once you've been here for a week, you know that well, I'm going to go find the rest of the 200s, and that's where that goes. You know, um, and then labeling like so. I'm a big fan of the pack out towers. So I have a big pack out tower that everything lives in. Um, and on the front of the pack out is everything is not everything, but the majority of things are labeled. And again, that's to keep me from being asked questions of where is it, but also to tell you where to put it back, because you find it and you're like, well, I don't remember where I got it from. Well, you got the stud finder from the drawer that says stud finder. That's where it goes back.
Yeah.
And putting the tools back, that's the other, I would say, biggest organizing thing that helps things back is when you use it, put it wherever you guys are designating that it goes. Like, I mean, if like for your setup, if you're designating, all right, it can go on the table, that's fine. And we're going to pack up from the table and go. But like my system is put it back in the pack out, like put it
Yeah.
back in its home, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be scrounging, to
Well,
put
and you
everything
could
up.
leave a bit in a cabinet somewhere that
Yeah.
should have been put back in the
Yeah.
pack out. We have another thing is one impact and one drill is not enough. We take a minimum 3 impacts, 3 drills, right? One's got a hole saw for plumbing, one's got a square bit, one's got a pre-drill bit, and so you don't have to constantly take stuff out of the chuck,
Yeah.
put something else in,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
I've,
we
I've
just go
just
room to
about
room.
banned impacts from being on my installs.
Mm.
Yeah. That's all the debate we can have on another episode, but I'm just about to the point where I'm like, go put that back in. Don't even bring that.
You cannot use an impact for everything.
No, no.
It is not, it's not a good option for everything. Um,
Tools or jigs that have helped with these shortcuts,
how many you want? You want to stop at 1,000?
right?
I
Um,
mean,
jigs are life. They are the bread of life in a cabinet shop. That is, there is no doubt about that. I'm on the verge of I really really want to buy a 3D printer. And just for the fact of being able to knock out accurate jigs in house. That's
yeah,
really all I want it for. But whether it's for mounting hinge plates for overlays, whether it's for mounting plates for insets, whether it's, spacing for this or that, I would love to be able to just sit in here, make a jig for it real quick and go here, take this to the install with you. You can't go
yeah,
wrong with it.
yep, yep. And anything you have to do more than 2 or 3 times, whether it's put a
Yes.
plate on or whether it's put a drawer in, a drawer front, a drawer guide, anything like that, come up with a jig or a series of jigs to use for it, to hold your spacing, to do whatever you need to do. We made stands, so, we use the rear brackets for the drawers. And so holding that rear bracket up at the right height at the back of the cabinet is difficult to do. So Trey made stands that sit in the cabinet where when you put that thing in there, it sits on top of that stand, you screw it into the front, you nail it onto the back, you're done. And
And a
we're
jig
going to,
does not have to be complicated to
no,
work. I mean, a
or
jig,
expensive.
yeah, I mean, a jig, I mean, for the longest time for mounting half-inch overlay doors, what we had one specific just block of plywood
Mm-hmm.
that was marked as half-inch overlay block, and you just sat at the bottom of the corner of the face frame, you sat your plate on top of it, and you pre-drilled your holes and you screwed it. Like
That's it.
there was nothing complicated about that little block of wood. just label it, mark it, do something to it so that it doesn't get thrown away as trash. Otherwise, you're making that jig
Yeah.
over and over again,
Yeah.
but like I just recently made a more elaborate one for the plates. Like it's got pre-drill hole, like it's got the spacing, it's actually got the pre-drill holes so that you're not holding, because we were holding that block and then holding the plate on top of the block, and it would move a little bit sometimes it'd be fine. I was like, well, if we can just if we can eliminate the plate holding out of the situation, I mean, and it worked flawlessly,
Yep. Yep.
uh,
And you could pre-drill the holes, or you could even just center punch the holes, really, and hold the plate up. You see your two holes or your dots or whatever. You hold the plate up, you
yeah.
screw it in. So
I mean, yeah, we go through. We go through with a self-centering drill bit. One guy does all the bottom plates, and then the second guy's coming through. He's putting the plate on, hanging the door. Then he's using his jig. He's using just the door and the plate already mounted for the tops.
yep.
We're not doing another template up there. He's just using the door and the hinge, and it's super fast.
And you won't never mismount a plate like that either. Because we have different overlays on the bottom of the cabinet. I don't know how y'all do it, but we do the wider bottom rail. So we do a 1 inch overlay on the bottom and a 1/2 inch over. So that's two different jigs. So what I tell guys to do is do all the bottoms and then take that jig and go put it up out of sight back in the
Yep.
box.
Yep.
Then get your top one. Don't be walking around with both of them, and just swapping them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. But
Yeah. I messed
yeah,
that up at my mother-in-law's with your jigs. You gave me jigs and they weren't my jigs and they were borrowed jigs and I'd never done these jigs and oh
yeah, figure it out.
that's a lot of jigging.
A lot of jigging, a lot of jigging.
But yeah,
Now there are jigs that are expensive, in my opinion, that are worth it, and True Position is one of those.
that is bingo, bongo, bango every day, all day. I forgot. I went to go do handles yesterday and I only had 2 handles to do. And I forgot to take the True Position with me, but I had to stop by Richelieu. I was this close to buying another True Position. That's how important this jig is, and this thing is $200.
Yeah,
But I was this close to just buying another one and versus doing it with the old school method with tape because
but I tell you what, think about if it saves you 3 or 4 minutes a handle. I mean, you slap the sucker on the door, make sure it's tight, drill, and you're done.
but no jig is
And
foolproof. Don't get in the mindset that a jig is foolproof because
triple check.
I mean even that True Position, as good as it is, I had it in a couple of jobs ago. The part that is supposed to catch the top of the door. This door had an outside profile, and I was lipped on that profile. I wasn't actually on the top.
Mm.
I mean, so my one door, last door, always the last door of the day. It's always the last one. I mean, and I was like, oh my gosh, and when we do door handles, well, you do door handles, they're finished as well. We go back after the finisher hangs the doors, crooked as all get out. We have to uncluster the doors and then drill our handles. So now I've got a finished door that's been misdrilled. So that's got to come all the way back to the shop, be repaired, be repainted, go back. It's not fun for anybody.
No. And just to kind of give you a little insight on that, you can have 2-3 weeks in a job. I mean,
Yeah.
200 hours by the time, if you have people working there for you and all that kind of stuff, and you're walking around with this jig and you don't hold it right against the doors, or you set it up wrong and you just go to drilling and you have just backed up about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so a small detail like that, you have to have your head in the game.
If there is anything that you're doing that is repetitive and you can figure out a way to take the math out of it and to take some of the oops factor out, you're not going to eliminate it 100% with a jig, but you will take a lot of it away. And again, like Mitch said, if you've got, like you're hanging something as simple as hanging doors and you've got 2 different measurements, do all your one methods first. Even with like the True Position jig, I'll tell, when we had the intern, I was like, all right, so you do all the doors that the handles fit this setup with. If you got to go to 3 other rooms, you do that. You go do those rooms. and then you come back and you reset your jig back up. I was like, and then you do the next set of handles. Don't do change it, 15 times in the same room, do it
Do all
methodically,
your doors, and
you
then
know.
do all your top drawers, and then do all your, your bottom drawers. Or every time something changes, every time you change that jig, drill everything that takes that setup. And I promise you, it's a lot faster, and it takes away a lot of the ability for you to set it up wrong. Because instead of setting it up 3 times, you're setting it up 50 times. So yeah, the majority of it is just super cheap jigs, but there are jigs out there that cost a lot of money, but they pay for themselves rather quickly.
Must haves you can't do without. Well, I mean, I think we just covered one. That's definitely the true position. I don't ever want to go back to that, to not
Yeah.
having that. Uh,
I really like a laser.
yeah. Is
I
a
mean, I
laser a
know.
jig? Do we call that? I mean, is that
Was he
just,
just talking about jigs that you can't do without?
well, I guess not. The must have, I guess that's tools as well. Yeah, tools and jigs. So, the tool that you can't live without.
Yeah, the laser's pretty good. I don't rely on the laser as much as I used to. I don't use it as much for setting level cabinets. I found that, especially on one job, that laser can get you. A level's never going to get you. But a laser, by the time you move it to the next room or slide it over, it can get, something can happen on it. And, you always need to, every couple of jobs, you need to verify that laser is still level, because they will get out of calibration.
Yeah, especially as you're throwing tools around and stuff and it gets bounced and,
That's right.
nobody
Yep.
takes as good of care of the tool as the guy who paid for it. So,
That's it. But the biggest thing we've done this year, and this came up in the cabinet group, the biggest thing I've done this year to help productivity is getting that 28-foot trailer with the ramp on the back. I had to make the math work in my head, and it was an investment. Trailers are not cheap. And so I said, okay, if I have to make another trip with cabinets to the same house, what does that cost me? And for a random house in Wetumpka, it was $350. And so I was like, okay, if I avoid that once on every job, before long, that trailer pays for itself, not to mention the fact that it's got a ramp on the back, and now we're not stepping up and stepping down. If you're making several trips with the same trailer on the same job all the time, you're going to have to make a change.
yeah.
You are throwing money out the window.
Well, if your environment, you got to check your environment too. I mean,
If you can get the
like,
trailer in and out.
I mean, there's no way I can take anything bigger than a 16 foot. It's just, our next step would be to move to a box truck. I mean, we would just have to. I mean, just in Metro Nashville, we're not moving another trailer. We
Could
just,
you imagine a 28-foot trailer in downtown
oh,
Nashville?
well, we just recently had a house that we actually had to we pulled the trailer into another property, and then we used a truck as a taxi. We took them off the trailer, put them in the bed of the truck, and drove them around and up to the
My
house.
goodness.
And I mean, because we didn't have a way to carry it. Hindsight being 2020, like we should have the night of. I was like, we should have rented a U-Haul for this job. Why didn't I go just rent a little U-Haul? And it would have been fine. But just the whole time, we were like, well, this is what we knew that was going to be our plan. Like we knew that was what's going to have to happen, and got so locked into that plan that we didn't think left or right of it. And then the night before, as we're putting stuff in, I was like, a U-Haul would have solved this problem.
Yeah.
$99.
Yeah. So, based on your location, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was a huge game changer for us here. And I still have the smaller 14-foot trailer.
Yeah.
If we just have some little stuff that we need to do or something, but
And then something I can't. I would say something I can't do without for sure. And I know this is going to seem obvious to anybody who's ever installed a cabinet, but I'm going to say specifically the Stabila levels. Like you can do it with levels, but the Stabilas are they're just so nice. They're just so accurate.
man.
They're they're just you can trust them.
Yep. And it seems like on the why are you gonna pay that much for a level? If you go and get a Lowe's level or whatever, and you raise one end of it up a 16th of an inch, that bubble's either going to have a delay or it's going to go too far,
Yeah.
and then it's going to eventually come back and settle. And I don't know what the fluid is in those vials on the Stabila, but if you move that sucker a 16th, that bubble shoots over and it stops. There's none of this back and forth waiting on it to settle and all that. So it was just, it really, it just works better.
Yeah.
Just works better.
Yeah. And then he asked us bring back tool of the week, which we would have to just call it tool of the month, I guess now.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't really know that we were making that change, but
No.
I mean, what would be, obviously right now we're a little backlogged, so let's keep it install related to kind of keep the field a little narrow. What's something you've bought in the last little bit that has just been a good game changer on an install?
Cordless 10-inch miter saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has been, because we're not promised in my world, we're not promised electricity.
That's true.
It's a lucky day if they have a centralized extension cord coming in that's hooked up to power outside that nobody else is using. But man, I can't tell you the amount of times you got one 12 gauge wire coming in the house and 10 contractors, coming off of it, and it's
Yeah.
always tripping the breaker. It's not reliable.
Yeah.
So, the ability of me to be self-sufficient on a job site is astronomical. I mean, I have to be able to do that. I can't rely on electricity to be in there. I'm not gonna lug a generator.
I was fixing to ask, have you ever thought about putting a generator on the tunnel?
I've thought about it, but I would do an inverter, and I'd go crank the truck up and just let the inverter run before I would do a generator. Gas, oil, fumes, it's heat, it's hot,
Yeah.
it's noisy, cords. I wouldn't do all that, but yeah, the cordless miter saw is giving us the opportunity to do a lot of stuff on the site that we were planning to not be able to do. You know what I mean? Like there may not be a cord there, so we have to do this in the shop. Versus now, we can just take that cordless saw. We know we have a miter saw there that'll work no matter what the situation is. Game changer.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that I bought recently that is a game changer, and I've got one thing that I bought that I think is going to be a game changer, but hasn't gotten here yet.
It counts.
So I
It
don't know if
counts.
that counts or not.
What is it?
And I would love to have this guy on the podcast because I think he is just coming up with some great stuff. But have you ever heard of Packable Tool? So this guy basically makes things for the Milwaukee Packouts that Milwaukee really should have thought about in the first place. And he's just basically turned it into his own little market of, accessories for Packouts. And so what I recently bought is, so I have the Packout Tower, they're all drawers. It's all the drawers, just various setups of the drawers. And these go on the sides of the pack out, and they're like little folding tables. So they will fold out like wings and they will fold down. But my screw boxes are going to go on those. My Milwaukee screw boxes. So when I'm, in transport mode, they'll fold down. But when we're at the house and we're wanting to use them, instead of finding another surface to put them on, or what happens a lot, they get put on the floor, which I don't like because then they get moved or, like we recently did one with that brand. I mean, we were in there and the floors were all brand spanking new, refinished like that week. And I don't want them on the floor. It makes me have apprehensive, makes my anxiety go through the roof. Or they get kicked and somebody doesn't latch them, but they'll be on those wings now. And so they'll be off the floor. They're locked in, and you can hand pick through there what you want. I think that's going to be a pretty big game changer. I'm pretty excited about those.
Yeah.
But that's as far as like install side of things, I don't think I've really bought anything lately.
No, it's once you get a system that works, you tend to stick with it for a while. But I think it's important as an installer in our world is hot. There's rarely air conditioning going on. It's nasty. It's dirty. So if we can get something like that or something small that just helps a little bit,
Yeah.
that's not, thousands of dollars or whatever, man, it really helps everybody just kind of lock in a little bit more. They're a little bit happier, morale's a little bit up, and we kind of go through it and handle everything. So
I still say go back to probably one of my favorite install tools, most useful tools is them stupid airbags that you put me on.
yeah,
I use them all the time. I mean, I
yeah,
find uses for them almost on every site that are not like conventional of like, well, this is what it's for,
yeah, yeah.
I'll find a different way to use them. I think they're super great and they're handy. You can move stuff around on them. I had to recently take a door off, exterior door off to get a cabinet in the room. And while the apprentice was doing something else, I just slid an airbag underneath that door. I pumped it up. I held it with two hands. I pumped it with my foot and got it where I
Yeah,
wanted to and mounted that door, back by myself, so I didn't have to tie him up and we just kept trucking on through.
those
Um,
airbags are nice to have, man.
they're great little tools to have. Yeah. So, thanks for that email, Robo. That was, you know, a good one. And like I said, if you got something else, that a specific question, hit us up. If we don't know the answer, we'll make up one.
Yep, we're
We'll at
good at
least
that.
we'll at least tell you we're making up the answer
We
though.
don't even build cabinets. These people still think we build cabinets. But yeah, email us. That kind of keeps everything going.
Yeah.
If you don't like what we sit here and talk about, email us and say, "Don't talk about that. I want to, I
Right.
want to learn how to raise rabbits." We'll Google it. Do you think I'm scared to Google something?
I'm pretty sure somebody at your house knows how to raise rabbits. I mean,
They
y'all
do. Yeah,
y'all
it was
raise
a
so many
horrible excuse.
things. Um. So let's go to tools, right?
Okay.
Because you've been in the tool collecting business here lately.
All right, Tammy, just turn it off if you're listening. Just turn it off.
She ain't listened. She ain't listened from the
Yeah,
start.
who am I kidding?
Right?
Oh, hot pants.
She ain't come back to the shop since that event, has she?
She don't come around much.
No.
No. She's got a job. I didn't say that. She's got a job now. She's working for a manufacturing facility that makes the big boom trucks that go and get trash off the road and put in the hopper in the back and stuff. She doesn't build them, but she's in the office. Now she's built a couple of things they've asked her to, like, I think she put a hydraulic pump together or something. Wasn't much going on, but anyway, yes. Let's dive right into this. All right.
I mean, you're gonna have to be the one to get the board bouncing because you're the one buying the tools.
There are tools that you need to buy the latest and greatest of. All right. Pocket hole machines,
Nah, Max
hinge boring
Siwa.
machines. Do what?
Nah, Max Siwa.
No, Macy. Seeing, I probably wouldn't buy a seeing from 1992 or something. However, the first one I bought was a 1953 Delta 40-C. It's a big radial arm saw. It's got a 14-inch blade. And I'm so mad at myself because it sat in the shop for 2 years. I tripped over it. I, put stuff all over the top of it and whatever. Finally had a little bit of a few days where I could, because once I'm without a radial arm saw, I'm not building cabinets. Like, we used it all the time. So ripped everything out, put it in. Then I put an old Delta Super 900 beside it. That's at a 45-degree angle that we use for, one certain job. The big saw is locked at 90 degrees. The Craftsman that I had, it would do 3 or 4 cuts. It would be out of calibration. It would be loose. It would, it wouldn't lock down. It just wasn't designed for what we needed it to do. And so I came across this deal in Chattanooga. Some of you remember that. That was on the Saws, Goats, and
Yeah, something like
what's the
that.
name of that podcast? Goats and Saws
Off
and
the Rails
Paint.
podcast.
Yeah.
Some two doofuses talk into the microphone on that
Yeah.
podcast.
Anyway, that was a story there. But anyway, I got it and I finally got it put in, and I cannot believe the difference that saw has made. So that kind of got my brain to going and saying, wait a minute, some of these old saws are built to better specifications than what we need. They're heavier, they're stronger, whatever. So I got that put in, and then I was like, I got to have some more of this old stuff. So don't poo poo on what I'm about to say. This is my experience. I had a DeWalt 735 13-inch planer. It had the Helix head in it, you know, and all this kind of stuff. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. Hate it. Still hate it. I don't
Did
even
you
want to look at it.
did you grow to hate it, or did you always hate it?
I grew to hate it. So the first few jobs it did fine, and then the teeth got to where they were just barely moving, which is all you need in a situation like that. So a regular planer's got what they call straight knives. It's just a long blade, perfectly flat, scoops the wood off as it goes under. A Helix head, a carbide cutter head, they have a whole bunch of teeth, like 100 teeth in it. And they're square, and each one has to be tightened down, you know, to a specific, you know, foot pounds of torque and whatever. The problem with a carbide cutter head is it robs your machine of power because it's always cutting. You cannot take as deep of a cut. That hurts. You can't plane something as wide, as fast as you can with straight knives. It puts a lot more load on the motor. However, if one of those knives gets slightly out of adjustment, it's going to cut a trough in the wood. It's going to cut a wide, like 3/4 inch wide gouge going through the wood. So you have to sand the rest of the frame down to that gouge. With a straight knife, if you get a nick in the blade, now you have just a tiny high spot, and it sands off no time flat. And we got so tired of swapping knives, resetting knives, cleaning knives, went out and bought a torque wrench, did everything the factory said to do. You'd run 3 or 4 boards through, it'd be fine. Boom, something would happen. So not impressed with it, was not happy with it.
Curious. I've always been curious because, you know, we kind of surveyed, you know, social media, and you were definitely in the minority when it came to preferring straight knives versus spirals. So I've always been curious if there was something with your head.
Could be.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
could be. Yeah.
Because because when you poll, because I know there's somebody listening to this that's going, I don't know what he's talking about, because I love my helical head. I think the majority is going to say I like helical head better. So I just wonder if you just had a gremlin in that machine or in that head that you just could not
very,
find to get. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Could have been.
Because
But we would take all the knives off. We would clean them. With acetone. Like we would make sure there was no debris under it. We would clean the screws, blow the whole machine out, reset them all, use the same exact torque on every one of them. It just seemed like after, you know, 5 or 10 sticks of wood goes through it, it's off again. And so we would over torque them, we would under torque them, you know, but they were always done the same. And 1 or 2 knives would always shift. And it was just, but as far as the not having to rotate the blades a lot, that's true. They were cutting sharp.
yeah,
And we sent a pile of wood through it. But to put a spiral cutter head in a weaker machine like a DeWalt, you know, planer, I don't think that was the right setup. I think if you have a little bit more of horsepower, you know, I think you'll be a lot better off. So like I said, it's just my experience.
and and I know there's a ton of people that use that DeWalt planer, because that is the of the two DeWalt planers, that is the better model for sure. And I know there's a lot of people that have that Helix head in their planer, but that is a common comment, is that they feel like it's underpowered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you, I guess there might be a couple of people that don't understand what we're saying. So a straight knife, imagine a rolling pin, right? Like making dough, rolling pin, and we put 3 blades on that rolling pin, equally spaced apart around it, right? So as you would roll that, there would obviously be times that there is nothing in contact with that board. Okay. Now, when you get it going fast enough, obviously you're getting fast enough that you're getting contact, that you're not getting any skips in your final product, but you still are getting microseconds of no contact with the wood. And that's where Mitch is talking about with the the horsepower and underpowering it. Whereas if you take that same rolling pin and now we take the blades and we wrap them in a helical form, like a screw would be. So we're spiraling those blades, and it's a series of blades. It's a bunch of smaller ones, but they're in a spiral around that. There's no way to roll that rolling pin now without a blade being in contact with the cutting surface.
Bingo.
So that's why you you need more horsepower. You need more power in the machine because it's never not cutting something.
Yep.
Um,
That's it.
so
But
it's
another
it's a weird philosophy, you know.
It is. It is. But that motor was designed to scoop a bunch of wood and then nothing, and then scoop another. This is all happening like super quick. But another upside of the helical head is you get fine shavings, so they don't clog up your dust collection system. They pack a lot better. You can plane way more wood with a Helix head without having to empty your dust collector. With a straight knife or long knife, you're going to get ribbons of wood off, and they clog stuff up, whatever. But
Yeah, and and with a straight knife, you've got one edge to work with, whereas with the helical head, each one of those individual blades does have four sides to it. So typically, an ideal world, when you rotate your blades, uh, like you would say, once a year you would rotate, but you would rotate every blade, and they actually have a little. Everyone I've ever seen has a little number on them. I've never
yep,
seen them without it. So you rotate from position 1 to position 2, but you rotate every blade on that head to 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then you wear that carbide edge out, and then you come back and you do it again. So your cost for blades is higher, but your frequency in between blade changes is lower technically, because technically you're turning the blade, you're not replacing the blade. So
that's it.
it's it's
Yeah,
different.
and like you said, I might be an anomaly on that, but we were not happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, and that happens, right? I mean, just like, an experience with any, you go buy a car, and it craps out on you the first day, you're going to have a proclivity not to like that car
Yeah,
anymore,
the whole brand is trash
Yeah,
now.
I
Yep,
mean, I'll never
yep,
buy another Dodge again, or
yep, yep.
whatever,
So,
that was not a dig.
so that brings me to, well, Mitch, what planer are you using? Again, Delta, for whatever reason, I love the old Delta stuff, and it's a 22-101 13-inch wide planer. So it's not a huge unit, but it weighs 800 pounds. Came across one on Marketplace. It came with the VFD because it's 3-phase. Came with everything. It had been restored top to bottom. And the power of that machine compared to a lunchbox style, worlds apart. When it grabs that wood, dude, and it starts feeding itself that wood, you're not getting it out.
No, no. The
It's
feeder
going
is
through the
better.
machine.
Yeah, I mean, when you change from the hobbyist style machines, to these more of industrial production size machines. Yeah, just everything about them is better.
Everything
So
is better.
it's a hard comparison because I mean it's
Yep,
almost unfair for the DeWalt because
exactly.
it's I
They
mean
were
it's
designed for two different types of
yeah,
people.
yeah, they really were.
And I'm
But
surprised that DeWalt. Now, let me tell you something. That DeWalt planer has planed I don't know how many miles of wood,
it
but it
was it
was
there when you bought the shop?
no.
Okay.
I got it as soon. Well, let's say yeah. I only ran without it for a couple months.
What did Charlie have before?
A Grizzly double-headed drum sander,
He had no planer.
no planer,
Really?
and it was horrible. That was a
Yeah.
horrible experience.
Now you want to talk about taking very little wood off at a time.
Oh, do not ever do that.
Yeah.
Drum sanders have their place, but final milling on production lumber is
Yeah.
not it.
Yeah.
It's not it. So everything about the Delta planer is super heavy. Like I said, it's 800 pounds. It's all the gears the drivetrain, the gears, they're in an oil bath. So there's really not any wear on them. They're constantly covered in oil. The tables are built with micro adjustments. It's super easy to get it dialed in. The in-feed roller, the out-feed roller, the table rollers.
The planer's crazy quiet too. You turned it on yesterday while we were on the phone, and it was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's
Literally,
probably quieter than the Powermatic we have.
yeah, literally the only sound you hear are the blades buzzing in the wind.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
I mean, you could,
I would dare say it's quieter than the Powermatic with a helical head. And you've got a Delta with straight knives, which straight knives are supposed to be louder.
yeah. Yep. And it's super quiet. And when it cuts, it's, it can get a little louder when it cuts, but when it's just sitting there running, it's almost dead quiet. Like
little buzzy.
Yeah. But like it's got, blocks on the back where if the table goes up and down a million times over 20 years, it has wear blocks that you can adjust and tighten that fit back up. It's just everything about it is built to last forever and to be adjusted by the shop owner or the guy working on the machine or whatever. They sold it and they're like, we're never going to see this machine again. We're not going to have it back in for repairs, for parts. Nowadays, that's back when machine makers built machines that they knew were going to last decades.
Yeah. Generational equipment.
That's right. Now you buy equipment. What's the best warranty? Can I get parts? Is it a hassle to change out the motor? You're looking at the maintenance of that machine as part of your buying process. And those days are gone. I mean, it's just everything, the detail in it, the casting, it's just a beautiful machine. And while I was there, he said, hey, I've got a Delta scroll saw from the 30s. And I was like, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Got a retirement light. And for those of you who know about that, you know what I'm talking about. It's super hard to find, rare retirement light. Guy wanted $150 for the machine. I told Trey, I was like, let's load it up, baby. Let's go. But again, the cam, the air pump is all in an oil bath. So, it'll last forever. Super quiet, heavy machine. So I love it. I've discovered a new love for it. We're going to be, getting some more stuff, but you have to buy an older machine to do the task that you want it to do. Sometimes you need a new machine. Like I wouldn't buy a paint gun from the 30s.
Yeah.
But just any of that old equipment like that, you need to be heavy and last forever and stuff. Go old school, man. I love it.
Now you did do a tool change, that you didn't go old school on. You actually went new school on, and that is your line bore machine.
Yep. Line bore machine. We went newer. We went from old school workout, kill your back and your abs to a foot pedaled one. And that,
you got rid of the Delta on that one.
Got rid of the Delta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that was the 90s Delta where they started.
That's when warranties started coming around.
Yep. Yeah.
I would love to kind of know the history of like the warranty. When did it get to the point where we say, you know what, we're not going to make the product where it lasts forever. We're going to make it kind of crappy, and we're going to say we'll fix it if it, don't survive. How long has the warranty been around?
I'd like to know. I don't know, because it used to be, it didn't wear out. I'm going to send you a video about DeWalt saws during the war effort, World War II.
Yeah.
They had a 800-foot long line, and they had like every 21 feet, they had a DeWalt radial arm saw, and each saw would process 15, 20,000 board feet of lumber a day. And they were building these buildings for training troops and, exercises and whatever else. And man, if you run across that video, it's mind boggling, man, what all they did back in the day. But yeah, that was one to make it easier on the user, not because it's not really faster or, it doesn't do a better job. It's just a foot pedal versus, pulling the handle down. So that was a linear exchange is what I call it.
Probably a little faster.
It may be a little faster, but
especially over time, because on that Delta, as you got to yanking on that thing, you got slower and slower.
Yeah, it was a workout.
That was a workout.
Expanders are another thing that I'll say you probably need to go new school.
Yeah.
And that's the next I can't buy. Trey said I cannot buy anything else for the shop until I get him an edge bander.
You know, I might have to support that campaign because
I can't argue with it.
you know, I recently tried to have my edge bander serviced, and wow, that's not fun.
What are you running?
So it's an SCM,
Okay.
and did a little research on it, found out it's about 22 years old on the serial number, and it works fine. It doesn't work fine for everybody else. That's the problem because I know how to tweak it. I know where the adjustment needs to be made when I see it doing this. I know, oh, this knob needs to be turned a little bit more. Whereas some people in the shop don't pay attention to those kind of details. They just want the machine to work. And that's just not the way all machines work. And especially edge banders, I don't think there's a non finicky edge bander out there.
There isn't. They all are terrible.
I was explaining to the guys, I was like, when we went to Atlanta, when we were at AWFS,
IWF.
is it IWF? What is, yeah, IWF. I was like, I was watching edge benders that were hundreds of thousands of dollars and they would goof up. Like, they'd have to come back there and pull a ribbon out, of edge banding material, or it would skip somehow. I mean, and it just seems like it's one of those machines that just has so many moving parts. And then we put hot sticky glue in it, and that seems to like just complicate, the matter to start off with. But SCM wanted $850 to change the registration of the machine from the original owner to me. And then at that point, they could begin the process to schedule a maintenance technician to come out. And the fee for having a maintenance technician come out was based on my location and what his flight costs were, what his hotel costs were, what his food costs were. I mean, I am paying for every little thing for this guy to come out to service it. And I was like, so you're charging me $850 to type in a computer. And I can't even, I was like, I'm just trying to evaluate at a 22-year-old machine. Is it worth putting a couple $1,000s into? Is it worth putting a couple $100s into? Should we be looking at new machines? I was like, but you want $850 just to change the registration of it? No.
Or you're going to drop down to a mid-level machine like a Grizzly, somewhere along in there that you can just call Grizzly and be like, hey, this $80 part just quit working. I'm not worried about a technician. Send me another part. I'll unbolt it, bolt it back on, plug it in.
Yeah.
Some of these companies can shoot themselves in the foot by not making it easy to own the equipment.
Yeah. She's like, but you get access to our tech support. I said, I haven't needed tech support in the 2 years I've had it. Why?
You're going to charge me $1,000 to answer a question on the phone.
How about you just charge me for calling tech support if I do? I'd rather that, but just change the registration. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, when you get into this new stuff versus old stuff, I mean, it's frustrating, I mean, then like, we were talking about Festool, we had to do a warranty claim on Derek's Capex saw, his miter saw, and it was not old at all, a couple of years old too. I mean, because it was still in the warranty period. Now, fantastic service. We got it registered, sent it back to them. They sent it back completely cleaned, went through it, 100%, dialed in and right. But I mean, really, truly, in 2 years, it shouldn't have had the issue it had. I mean, I've got a rigid saw that rides around on the trailer, that cost a third of what that saw costs, and it gets bounced around hanging vertically in the trailer, 98% of its life. It never comes off, and it fires up every single time,
Yeah.
And this $1,600 miter saw, the power switch went out.
There's so Dusty Lumber Company. He just released a video, and I'll just say I'm not a huge fan of his. I don't like his style, but that's beside the point. But he actually did a Festool thing where he went to the Festool place in Germany. They got a tool in, they disassembled it, cleaned it out, found out what was wrong with it, went to the shelf, got a part, put it in, rebuilt it, cleaned it, vacuumed out his sustainer, cleaned everything up, packaged it out, and it left that day. Because I think they have 1 day there, 1 day for repair, and 1 day back. So you're only without it, 3 days. Now I don't know if that's just a Germany thing or if that's over here too. But
I don't know. I don't know where it got sent
so
to. When we weren't without it long.
yeah,
I would say maybe 5 days. Shipping time. I mean, we're talking about a miter saw, so I'm sure.
right.
I'm sure it shipped slow. Slow mail, but it wasn't long.
Yeah. So
But
at least they do. It shouldn't have tore up, but at least it didn't it didn't tear up, and they're like,
yeah.
sorry, we don't know what
Oh
to tell you.
yeah, yeah. And there are tools out there. And we get into this. If you're newer or forgotten, we will get into the tool debate heavily because you know I like nice tools. I mean, and Mitch likes nice tools, but I think we're the anomaly that won't admit that. Like I have Festool stuff, but I don't. I have a Festool Impact that I never use. I've tried to sell it. I don't have it. I don't have a need for it. I bought it as a combo with the track saw, but now I was all about it because it was a Festool Impact. It does the same
Yeah.
exact thing as the DeWalt Impact does, or
Yep.
Hercules Impact does. There's nothing magical about paying that much money for an impact, an impact
Yep.
driver just because it says Festool on it. Their track saws or a router, or I mean, now there's some things that are there's nobody that can beat them, you know, for certain aspects. Now, if you just want a router just to route things and you don't care, that's fine. Now, if you want a router that's going to have like supreme dust collection and be able to do all these other things, the Festool can't be beat. You know, then you get into sanders. I personally don't love the Festool sander as far as like the feel of it. I would rather have a Merca, but there is no doubt that a Festool sander is better than a DeWalt, route rabbit, random orbital, sander. Bring up,
I used a Festool at a buddy shop, and he had the vacuum attached to it. And of course, I went in there and I was just poo pooing. Look at this, a Festool junk. What, you a Festool boy? And all this, giving him a hard time. And that sucker took that sander, stuck it on the outside wall of a cabinet, and let it go with the vacuum running. And it held itself up there, and he's like, hey, it's dust free. It's dust free. And I was like, what about your table saw, your shapers, your routers, your joiner, your bandsaw, your hinge bore machine, your upcut saw? None of that's dust free. But the problem with it was
yeah,
the sucker weighed 12 pounds, and you're sitting there all day with that sander all day long with the vacuum hose and the cord and this and that. I said, there's nothing wrong with that sander if you're in a situation where that dust collection is super important to you, right? I'm not pooping on it. But man, you run that sander all day long, dude, and you feel it. Like it's heavy. So he went and got a pneumatic, like a Merca or something, lightweight air
yeah,
sander. And he was like, it's hard to pick that Festool up now and run
yeah,
it all day when I just have this little light thing and I'm just, sanding away. So,
yeah.
everything's got its place. And I would love to do, if
And
it wasn't
everything's
for the
got to give
weight.
and take. Everything's got to give and take.
Exactly. If it
Yeah,
wasn't for the weight, because I think those Festool sanders, I think they sand a little faster
probably.
than a regular sander
Yeah,
does. But again, it's just I can't deal with the weight all day long. But we've got constant airflow. We got live dust collection. You're sitting there sand and that wind coming through this tunnel is just taking it off. So it's not like I got to have all this stuff on to use it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then, like us, doing on-site installs that are unfinished. I mean, we sand a lot, on site, and that's when you gotta have the vacuums,
Oh yeah.
in the client's house and all. But yeah,
They come in, there's dust all over the place and all over their cornbread and
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually do have a tool that I wanted to show y'all. I want to show everybody. I'll do it in the next little segment.
about to say it's about time for the next segment.
Yeah, because I'll get Kim to hand it to me and we'll do that. But I do have one tool that I found that I really like. Yeah, so you wanna call it? Okay. Well, if you're with us still, or you're in section 2, I mean, I'm hoping you're liking the new format, and I hope you're digging it, and I hope the conversation's good for you, that you're able to, kind of get some work done, while having some entertainment in your ears. And that's the whole goal here, is just to kind of provide a little information, provide a little entertainment, and at the end of the day, I mean, this whole thing started as, as a way for us to catch up, on a kind of a weekly basis. And, we found that fun. We found that entertaining. So we thought we'd maybe see if people wanted to share it. My famous line is, our mama said we were funny. So we thought we'd see if anybody else thought we were. Um, and that's just the whole goal, is to be light, to be fun, and to provide a little source of entertainment. So, if you're leaving this segment, thanks again for listening. Feel free to check us out on the YouTubes, on the Patreon, on the socials. Please give us a like, give us a share if you feel like we've earned it, and recommend us to somebody else, and then queue up the next part for your playlist.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be right back.
All right, and welcome back.
We here, baby.
We're here. Nope, there's not a bad smell in the room. I just thought I would share a new product that I have used.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Didn't notice it? Oh,
No.
it's so
Wow.
natural looking, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that I would put it on because one of the main things about this is the sound, the ability to talk through this respirator. They sell it as a respirator, but it's a very it doesn't interfere with your voice very much. So I was like, man, if I can do a podcast with it on and talk, then obviously, it's easier to communicate with it on. But it's a good air, it's a good filter. It's got the head, part that fits up here, and it's got another neck strap that goes around, clips on. So much like your traditional respirator does. This is a replaceable filter on the front. This little thing comes off, and then this filter is your replaceable filter. You can get the
Who
filter
makes
in
it?
white and black. And then is made by a company called Forged Air.
Forged Air.
Forged Air. FORG. Oh wait, maybe it's forced. I'll
He
have to
doesn't
look it.
know.
I'll have to look it up because it's a little worn. I think it's forged though. FORGED Air. I'll put a link on the YouTube page. But it fits much like a true respirator does. I mean, it's cupped on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's hot. It's hotter than a dust mask, but it's the same as any true respirator would be. As
Yeah.
far as like the heat goes.
It's better
Um,
than lung cancer.
it is better than lung cancer. So I use this. I've got to where I use this when I'm ripping plywood for sure. On the table saw, my face is over it. Now it does. I have no idea where it's at this point in time, but it does have a clip-on set of like safety glasses that like clip onto the front here. And they actually like them a lot. The problem is I wear a hat. They
Yeah.
are too tall to wear with a hat. But if you don't wear a hat, they're great because they will not fog up. I mean, they're very protective. They got a lot of wraparound to them, but there is zero fog at
Just
all.
take your grinder and zip
Right?
it right on off.
Yeah. But now I can wear my safety glasses with these. Um, and I get minimal fogging. If I press, if you mess up and you kind of press the seal a little bit, you'll get a little fog and got to clear it up, but it is very minimal. But I've used this a pretty good bit. I don't remember how I showed it to you when I first got it. That's probably been
Mm-hmm.
3 months ago.
Yep.
And I've cut several jobs with it. Now I don't wear it for every task. Don't get me. I pretty much just wear it when I'm on the table saw because it's Tennessee and it's humid as all get out and it's summer. Um, and I just can't stand to be in it for task other than tasks that I feel like I really need to be in it. But
Yeah.
um, I've enjoyed it as far as like a respirator, and and like your big thing is like not wanting to have a respirator you can't communicate because you have tray to catch as you're cutting, or somebody to catch. I don't, but you can call out part numbers in that pretty well, as you're doing that. So I just thought I would share that with some users.
You'll have to go to YouTube
And
if you want to
find
know what
that.
it looks like.
Yeah, yeah. If you're on an audio podcast, you have no clue how cool it is. But anyway,
I've got one too. We're doing show and tell. I got one.
oh, what you got?
Yep, it's not as cool as yours.
Oh, I knew you went to go get something, but I wasn't sure
I did.
you come back with it hidden.
I did. You ready?
Okay.
I don't remember. I do remember who put me onto this. There it is. Ox.
That's a Lowe's pencil.
Yep.
Lowe's
This is
marker.
this is a I don't know. I wouldn't call it a carpenter's pencil, but it's just like a. I'll get you guys in a little closer, maybe.
So it looks like the Lowe's version of a Pica pencil.
Yeah, like a pick pencil. So it's got this silver shaft that comes out the end of it that goes into the holes or whatever you need to do to
Mr. Fancy Silver Shaft.
mark a little fancy. That's gonna be my nickname, Fancy Silver Shaft. But anyway, the lead is super thick, right? So what happens when you dull the lead? You just simply
Higher. There you
you
go.
just put it right in there and twist it, and it'll sharpen the
Okay.
I don't know how to work this thing.
Well, you got to you got to put it in front of the camera for it to focus on it.
But anyway, it clips onto your bag. It just kind of goes right in, comes right out, goes right in, comes right out. So this is what, and I had a fellow cabinet maker tell me one time, said it because he had one of these, and he goes, if I show up to the job site and for whatever reason I don't have this in my pouch, I'm leaving and I'm going to Lowe's and buying one. He said that's how much of a game changer this is, and I have to say I agree with him. The only downside is there's not an eraser. So if you're not perfect like me and you never make a mistake, then, it's going to be fine. So
that's why I don't own one.
yeah,
I need an eraser.
yeah. Which, I mean, you could tote an eraser with you, but anyway, super simple. I like that it's got the thick lead, but obviously more than what you would think. You got to go inside of a hole
Yeah.
and mark something. But if you drop it, the thing with a regular mechanical pencil is when you drop it, it dents the very end that the lead comes out, and then it doesn't feed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because we were using those Pentel pencils for a while, and the 0.9, and I really really liked them until you dropped it, and it was,
Yep.
I mean, and it was pretty much poo pooed.
Now you one of those weirdos that have it on your hat, ain't you?
I do actually. Kim, will you throw me my hat right there? So
I can't get down with that. I got a pouch, but
yeah, but you
now
don't
the
wear
marker,
a hat.
I don't wear a hat. The blue ox marker is terrible.
Yeah.
If you don't snap it all the way in the holster, it'll fall out. But if you do snap it all the way in, it's an act of Congress to get the thing to come out.
So this is my shop hat, and
That's what it y'all. That's what it looks like when it's working.
yeah. And now I love this. I think this is my original hat clip. I don't think I've ever replaced it. I've moved it from hat to hat, but and I use the Bic, BIC, and these are the 0.9s. These are not the same ones like you buy at Walmart that are like the 0.2s. I think they are the super fine. These are the 0.9s. I get them on Amazon, like, I don't know, $25 for a box of 50 of them. I mean, and and I just toss them. They run out of lead. I don't refill these suckers. I mean, I just toss them.
You're out of eraser by then anyway, ain't you?
Yeah. I mean, hey, actually, this eraser has not been used. This pencil must be pretty.
That's a new pencil.
That must be a new pencil. The only thing I don't love is they come in some neon colors. Like this one looks pretty traditional, but I mean, I think there's a pink one over there. There's some blue, purples. I mean, I could care less. Really, I wish they all came in this. But they fit in the hat clip, And the problem is this, I have done this for so long. Any other pencil anywhere else, I go here first and then I go try to find that pencil. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm to the point where now, like, I don't know that anybody can come out with anything that I'm going to be willing to try to retrain my body on where to go find a pencil at, you know?
Yeah.
But you remember those pencils we bought at IWF though? Those
Oh,
flat ones? Man, I thought those were
womp, womp,
fantastic. And then
womp.
found out they wouldn't write on my tape measure. Once that was an instant.
You talk about a salesman though, man.
Boy,
He had us hook, line, and sinker.
he hit every one of us for $25. I
Yeah.
mean, we all
Yeah.
did it. Yeah.
And we all bought it, and the replacement lead, and we
Yeah.
just thought, oh, this is a game changer.
Couldn't tell you
And
where
dude,
that
I
pencil is now.
tried. Yeah, I tried for 3 or 4 days to really like it. And finally I was like, I cannot like this.
I think I sweat a little bit in the shop. That's a lot of salt.
Yeah, you need to get more AC in there like what I got.
The only AC that I get in the shop is when somebody leaves the bathroom door open. And that happens.
That's the hottest room in this shop is the bathroom.
Yeah, your bathroom is.
It's
Ain't nobody hanging out there just
No,
riding the clock in that bathroom. I can tell you
it
that.
is not designed for leisure activities.
No.
Let's just say like that. Go in there and handle your business. You getting out of that hot box, but it's like a porta potty in the desert, man.
Yeah.
Out in the sun. It's so hot in there. But yeah, this just since you were showing yours off, I figured I'd show mine off. This is
Yeah.
I've had this, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, something like that.
See, I like the
love
old
it.
classic Milwaukee Sharpie.
That's a good Sharpie.
But so is the Harbor Freight marker.
The Harbor Freight one, I run the Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
Harbor
50
Freight's
cent
a good
piece
marker.
or whatever. Good marker. But the Ox one is terrible. It's got a big old fat tip on it, and it don't last, and it's, the whole holster situation is just horrible.
Well, while we're on this topic, since we're only doing this once a month, I do have another tool I'll share. It was in my pocket. I didn't even think about this until and I carry this every day, but until I grabbed that marker, I didn't even think about it. So this is made by another woodworker. Probably have heard of him, Bourbon Moth Woodworking, Jason Hibbs. Yep. He used to do woodworking. Now he just does Ford commercials. Ha, Jason. I know he's never gonna watch this. But he and Katz Moses they do some tools together. And this is called the Bourbon Blade. So this is a chisel in your pocket. And it has been one of the most fantastic things that I've ever bought. They make a left-handed and a right-handed version of it. It sharpens like a traditional chisel. I mean, that's beveled on the front. It's beveled on the edge. This edge is not. It's a dead edge because it's a knife, so it's folded. So that is a dead edge. The way that this thing is designed, though, this is almost like a through tang. So this is a connected point that comes all the way down, so you can hammer on this and actually chisel. Now, I don't use it as a chisel. I use it as like cleanup. Like I will cut like with a chisel. I'm not clearing debris, or I'm not clearing large amounts of material with it like it's a chisel, because I'm not dumb. It's a folding knife. It can only take so much pressure. But it's got, and I can't remember, I should be able to remember from my gun range days, because lots of knife manufacturers use this lock right here. And I can't remember what it's called. But it's got a great lock on it. It's not going to, I don't know what you would have to do to make this thing fold up on you while you're using it. But it is super, super handy to have around. Now I keep a traditional blade. It's laying on the desk from where I opened up a box a while ago. I keep a traditional folding razor blade in my pocket as well. That's what I use for utilitarian cutting. Now, some people use this for everything. The only thing is it's a little hard to sharpen. That's why I'm a little bit pickier with it than using it like I would a traditional pocket knife. But it's not ridiculous to sharpen. But it's been a fantastic. Every day I have this thing, and it's great for installs. One thing I use it for a lot is you drive a screw and there's no stud there, and the screw will not come out. It is great for sliding behind that head and just putting a little bit of pressure on to get that screw to come on out. It's fantastic. And it's in my pocket. I don't have to go find, a cat's paw or another flat bar. They're like $125 or $150. So not cheap, but not crazy.
But again, it's unique. It's small business.
Yeah.
Somebody out there grinding. Literally.
Yeah.
Making it.
Yeah, I bought
Uh,
these. I bought all the guys one for. I bought myself and Derek and Wesley one for Christmas. All the shop, so the whole shop had one. I think mine is the only one still in use because I'm the only one that takes care of things.
yeah.
But
Well, you'll have that on them big jobs.
but but no, it's been a fantastic tool though. I mean, I really think, and I think if you think of it as a tool and take care of it as a tool, it'll last you a long time. Um, you just can't think of it as like like a hammer tool,
Yeah.
but
Well, Trey got, and I hate on it all the time just simply because he bought it and I don't have one. But he got the Milwaukee folding razor with the little lift up
the fastback,
screwdriver,
love it.
and it's got the Phillips and the flathead. Well, Klein's got one. Klein, right? Electrician Klein. You have more flatheads with electricity than you do Phillips heads.
Hand me that orange knife laying up there.
The problem with the Klein one is they did not include a flathead in it.
I mean, this guy.
It only comes, yeah, that's it. It only comes with a Phillips head.
This is stupid, Klein.
Why would they do that? EMT coupling is a flathead. EMT connectors, flathead. Breakers, flathead. Why would you not put a flathead in it?
But the one thing it does that the Milwaukee does not do.
What's that? Yeah, he's got a driver.
It does come off and it's a driver, which is cool. But it doesn't negate the fact that they left off the flathead.
I don't know why they would have done that, man. But can you buy a short combo tip and put it in there? Would it fit?
I don't know. It's not very it's
not
not very
long,
deep.
is it?
No, it's not very deep.
You want to see my EDC? I waited, I don't know, 20 years to get one of these. That is a Benchmade
Oh, yep.
Osborne.
Osborne's a great knife.
And Trey laughs at me because I didn't cut anything with this sucker for like a month. I was scared to use it. I didn't want to use it. And now,
shouldn't be scared to use it because Benchmade's their warranty is fantastic. Their sharpening program is amazing.
Yeah, and you can send it in and have it sharpened for, a few bucks or whatever.
For nothing.
So I might just
for nothing. Shipping.
Oh, is it free shipping? Yeah.
I mean, unless inflation has got them too, but
yeah.
I mean,
but it's just you're like, well, why would you pay that much? And well, number one, I just wanted one, but the actual feel of this knife is really good. I mean, it's balanced. It just fits. So.
Well, with knives, there's two things that you're paying for. You're paying for the handle material and you're paying for the steel quality.
Yep.
I mean, those are the two things that really, there's obviously a name too that you're paying for, but really and truly with like Benchmade, I mean, I sold Benchmades for years with the range. I mean, I used to tell you every model, every steel that was on each one of them, in each grip material, whether it was G10 or whether it was, carbon or an artificial material, but it is just a fantastic blade. And they really stand behind their product. I mean, they just really take care of you,
Yeah. I've enjoyed how I don't use it as much as I should.
Yeah.
I only use it if I have to have a knife and I don't have my pouch on me.
Yeah. The only frustrating thing with Benchmade, at least it used to be, is if you had an auto knife, because of certain states' regulations with autos, and they're like, look, we don't want to get into that. If you send it in to be sharpened, it had to go back to like a dealer. They wouldn't mail it back to you. They would mail it back to a dealer so the dealer could verify if you were of legal status to have it or not.
Yeah, good old government,
Yeah, but
looking out for us again.
But they're like, hey, we're not going to not guarantee our knife, and we're not going to not sharpen it. So here's the workaround.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, that sucker came with a razor on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super sharp out of the box. And I'm hard on a knife, so it's held up. It's held up really good.
Now, if you break the tip off of it prying something, you're on your own. You're over there.
Yeah.
Now they will sell you a replacement blade for a reduced cost. Just keep that in mind. You don't have to pay the full cost for a replacement blade, but they're like, that's not a warranty item. It's not a pry bar.
Yeah, but now I'm in between. Like, do I just need to carry this?
This is a pry bar,
right? Do I need to get something a little less expensive that I'm not scared to, you know, like the Milwaukee or the Klein or something. You pop a blade, you pop another one in, and
Yeah.
you're done with it. But I do like the screwdriver, idea. Every now and then you just need
Yeah.
something real quick, so.
Yeah. If I had her look hard enough, there's probably a Milwaukee fastback laying on my desk somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna do some
bad.
research and come up with something different, maybe.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that client because the reason why I bought that Klein was because everybody has the fastback, right? Everybody has the Milwaukee. I was like, and when I saw the Klein was pretty much a clone, I was like, oh, I'll know that this one is mine. Like,
Right.
versus all the other red knives. I was like, oh, I'll grab it. And then, yeah, super disappointed by no flathead.
Yeah. Yeah. As much as we hate a flathead, they still exist.
Well,
You
and
know.
the main thing I use that knife for is for taking off outlet covers and pulling the outlet out for a cabinet install. That is the number one thing I use that knife for because it's in my pocket. I don't want to go get another, screwdriver or anything for it. And then its main purpose was negated by not having. But
Yeah.
I digress. So
Anyway, there's some
what's coming
tools
up in the
for you.
shop? What's on the horizon for you?
We got an install coming Monday, which is a weird install for us.
Because it's a Monday.
Nope,
Oh.
because the doors are on, the
Oh.
drawers are in, the drawer fronts are on, the scribe is cut, the hood is done, everything's in. The hardware holes are drilled.
Well, that is unusual.
Yeah, so we're gonna load them up. Might get to it tonight. I don't know. We're gonna load them up, go put them in, and we're gonna be done. I've got 2 shelves I got to go back there and paint. If I can get motivated enough tonight to paint them, I'll paint them. We'll take them tomorrow. Don't know if that's going to happen. That may be, Trey, go hang these up. We may go Tuesday and do it or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we got that coming. Let's see. We got another house right behind that. One of these weird ones where it's down this dirt road. The daughter's building one, which we're putting in tomorrow. And then the mama's building one in the back. So it's coming up next. Something else that happened kind of weird on this that I don't get that often is a pushback. So we got pushed back, I think 2 weeks almost, because the builder walked in and saw the mud job the sheetrockers did and made them remud the entire house.
Wow.
And it was already primed. So they had to remud the entire house. Painter had to come back. So he's like, well, maybe Monday, you might be able to come in. This was 2 Mondays ago.
Oh, wow.
Talking about 1 Monday ago, right? So that one came around. He called me. He goes, hey, Painter says give him all week. You know what I said? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm the last one that's going to fuss about a job being pushed back.
Right.
As many times as I've had to push them back a day or 2 or 3 or 4 days or whatever because something happened over here in the shop, he's like, man, I'm sorry. We're going to push you. I said, hey, no skin off my back, brother. We got them ready to go. So, we're ahead of the game on this one, which is so nice, man, that we could just do it all in the shop.
Yeah.
And, but the downside is, so there's a couple of parts to this. The downside is they're a lot heavier whenever you load them up with drawers and fronts on them. A fully loaded cabinet is freaking heavy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're so used to mounting them naked, with what we call them, with no hardware on them, they're just boxes.
Well, just go ahead and
They're
put
super
shelf
light.
pins and shelves in them too. Just go ahead while you carry them. Just carry them with
Might as
everything.
well. Yeah. Could you imagine the train wreck whenever we got there? Shells everywhere.
Flying.
Yeah. But the other thing is, again, I know I've seen some cabinet makers online. If they get pushed back a day or 2, they're like, well, I'm just going to bring them over there and put them in the yard. It was supposed to be in this day.
Why
I can
be
never
that
do
way?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like get off your high horse. Like you've never been late for anything. So he told me, and I was like, dude, that's fine. That, no problem at all. We're going to be ready to go. Called him Friday afternoon. I know he quits about 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon. So, and it was a Friday. So I waited till 4:30, almost 5 o'clock. I called him and he didn't pick up. So I was like, he'll call me back. A couple hours later, he calls me back and he's like, what's up? And I said, hey, just making sure we're good for Monday. He's like, you all good, brother? And I said, all right. So, we got everything ready to go. But don't, you can't be that guy, man. If just like if you want grace, if you're behind a few days, you have to give somebody else grace. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And the builder didn't do it. I mean, the sheetrock, he goes, man, I'm not doing it anymore, dude. I'm not dealing with this shoddy work and, just trying to pick apart. He said that they're redoing the whole house. And dude, this is a builder that never gives anybody any trouble. He's throwing money at you when you show up. Like, you don't have to chase him down. If something happens and you run a square bit through the sheetrock, or do like I did and hit an air conditioning line in the wall, he doesn't come flying off the handle and, throwing stuff. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, dude. We'll fix it. What? And I'm like, these are the guys that try to get run over the most, is the good ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So finally he was just like, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. You can come. And I don't know if you've ever mudded a whole entire house of sheetrock, but it is a long, dude, you better think they were thinking about that the whole time.
Yeah.
And again, it's running with this theme that I'm going to start out really good with you. Then after a year or two, I'm going to kind of start letting some stuff go. And next thing you know, you're remudding an entire house and about to lose your job.
Yeah. That's not the way to maximize profit.
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
No.
Well,
no.
what else you got after that? You got a couple of, we got to cover more than just a week now.
Well, we got a cabin.
What you got coming up?
Coming up right down the road that finally sold. I'm not going to tell you what it sold for, but it was way more than I'll ever see in my lifetime. But most of it was land. The cabin is really small. They're from Florida, and they were up, and they said, we hate to do this to you, but can you come Sunday? Because we're leaving Monday. And I said, yeah. I'm right here. It's literally a quarter mile down the road. So
okay.
I just went in there and done that. I've got a bathroom and laundry room to do in a remodel. I've got some cherry cabinets. Yeah. I've got some cherry cabinets that the lady wants some corner stuff put in and a farm sink put in and a new unit built. So that'll be a little bit of a headache, matching door styles. And of course, they don't make that door style. So we're going to have to make the outside profile in the shop. It's only like 5 or 6 doors, so it's not a big deal. But then the big job, there's always a big job looming. The big job.
You hope there's always a big job looming.
Yeah. It is, I think, a 6,000 square foot house. They're talking some inset, some white oak. He is a retiring Delta airline pilot. So we're going to be doing that coming up. It's been dragging along, just dragging. So I told the builder, I was like, hey, if y'all are hanging sheetrock, like, I need to know, this is going to take up a month to do this. So I don't just call me and say, hey, we're ready for cabinets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're waiting on that one to come up. But we got, like I said, we got to install Monday. We did a small pine job in the cabin for a guy that we've given, I don't know how many thousands of dollars to, but there's 2 different Mexican restaurant chains. I say chains, they're not chains, but there's more than one.
Yeah.
He owns all those. And so, me, I'm talking to him every time we go into the one in Wetumpka. And one day he pulls me to the side. He said, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, uh-oh. I done forgot to leave a tip or something, And he's like, I got a cabin on my hunting land, and I want some cabinets put in it. And you talk about laid back, dude. I was like, what color do you want? He said, I don't know. What do you think? I was like, dude, let's do pine. Everything else in here is clear pine. Let's do that. He's like, all right. Send him hardware. I was like, what kind of hardware do you want? I don't know. Just pick something out that you like. Gave me a $200 tip, and it was on 5 cabinets.
Really?
Just tiny. Look at that thing.
Auto zooms moved again.
It must time out or something.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it keeps going back to tracking for some reason. Anyway, we're talking about the cameras. Anyway, so super cool job, super cool dude. Gave us a little bit of insight on the restaurant industry.
Oh.
So
you no longer eat there.
No, I would not own a restaurant.
No.
I mean,
it's a lot of work.
No way.
A lot of work, not a lot of return.
Yep. So anyway, did that. Did a door reface. So all new doors, new drawers, and drawer fronts. That went really good. So kind of dabbling in a whole lot of stuff, big jobs, little jobs. We did do a job a few months ago that this is the only time I'm even going to mention it. I lost 15 pounds on that job, and I almost had to go to a lawyer. Um, it was a horrible experience. I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
Uh, I was depressed. I didn't know, like, I had no will to come out here and do anything. Again, I'm not going to drag everybody down. We're not going to go into it because it's over with.
Is this the builder that we talked about? That was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And who since had two framers quit on him and start their own business. So it's just not a good situation. I kind of got roped into that a little bit. Anyway, that's over with.
Yeah.
And you're going to have those sometimes. So if you're in that area right now, if you're listening to this and you're going through something like that, put your nose down, dude. Get on the grindstone, get it over with, get it done, and move on with your life, and never, ever work for that person again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Don't get in that situation. And that was supposed to be a half overlay painted shaker, standard cabinets. And it turned into inset, oak, and grain match, and this and that. And, it was by far and away the most expensive job I've ever done, which when they wrote me that last check, buddy, I was like, I might do that again. When you take it to the bank that you've been doing business with for almost a decade and they go, yeah, we're holding this one. No chance we're about to put this one in. So that was the only good thing about it was it wasn't for a regular builder. So there was money to be made on it. So we came out okay on it, but
Your sanity is not for sale. So
no, I won't never do it again. I don't care if I pocket $100,000 on it. I'll never do that again. Ever. Customers now, they were cool. This is strictly a builder who I don't work for. It's the first job I've done for him. Obviously, I'll
last
never do
job.
another one. Yep. So, I don't want that to sound like it was on the homeowners. It wasn't. They were awesome the whole time. He got in over his head is what happened. He started freaking out about everything. He got in over his head.
That's kind of what it sounded like. It sounded like he was starting to drown in his capabilities and was just didn't know how to manage it himself and just kind of lashed out at everybody.
But the whole thing was everything was cool. Yeah. Like we weren't up against a deadline. We weren't, they weren't closing on the house in a week. Like they cash flowed this thing. So it was just him freaking out and it almost got ugly. And that's all I better say about that. But anyway, but yeah. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. Well, we've made some changes this year. Like I said, we talked about tools and stuff like that, and we're excited about the trailer. We're just, we have Riley on board now. She loves it. I don't know why. At 18 years old, she loves to come out here and do stuff. And Trey's a really good teacher. He don't
he's
cut
pretty
him a
patient.
whole lot of slack. Yep. Yeah, he's straightforward to the point. But, she's one of those where she don't know how to do something, but she's not scared to do it. And after she does it, she's like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what about you? What you got coming up?
Man, so I've got a kitchen I'm wrapping up right now that's been over a year in process. From the original sit down design to getting this thing installed. Just unique client experience. I think I'll leave it at that. As far as they go. It's have you ever watched the movie Talladega Nights?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being in that house is like being on the movie set of Talladega Nights. It's unreal. But that's wrapping up. We got several small projects down. We're hammering down pretty hard. We're going to Mexico the 1st of September for a few days. Got a buddy turning 50, and he's doing a big trip for a bunch of people going. So it'll be hammer down to be able to be gone for 6 days.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Because unlike everybody wants to think about the small business world, we'll do what we want to when we want to. I mean, if I take off 6 days, that means I got to put in 6 extra days. That's just the way the math works. But preparing for that, so it'll all be good. It'll be a good time away. Looking forward to it a lot. But got a couple of small jobs. I got kind of a unique vanity that I'm fixing to do. It's kind of kind of a modern style floating vanity. The challenge with it though is it's like this wide. It's not very much space, and the client wants a lot of things in what's not a lot of space. So it's going to be interesting getting that drawn up and getting it mocked up to see if we can, where we can meet in the middle. But I'm excited to do something different on that. It won't it be more of like full overlay, very modern looking,
Yeah.
and walnut. I don't get.
Okay, so you're gonna do like, is it like a grain match thing
Yeah,
or?
it'll be all stock grain match, across it. Yeah. So looking forward to that. And then I think we learned a lot. This is probably a whole nother topic we could spend a lot of time talking about. Our intern resigned. He got an opportunity to go work for a builder that Derek did a project for. So it's a good opportunity for him. He's a young guy. He doesn't really know if this is where he wants to be for forever, and this opportunity come up, and we both encouraged him to give it a shot. So, but I think we also learned a lot as far as like bringing in an intern. This was Derek's first time ever like hiring and try to mentor somebody.
Yeah.
And then, and when he first came in, our relationship was completely different than it would be now. Like he asked me, he's like, "What did you think about Derek hiring me?" And I was like, "I didn't think much of it because we were in two different shops. I mean, the interactions were so small. Like I didn't think much about it. I thought it was good for Derek, but I didn't. It was like a non-factor for me. Well, now the setup's a little different. Then it is a little bit more of a factor. So I'm hoping that we set a few more guidelines and training concepts in place before we do this again. Some kind of KPIs for is this guy tracking where we think that he should be tracking or not, to see if it's a good
Yeah.
workout. But life is kind of weird adjusting to that. You get used to having that third person to run these errands and to grab this or to grab that. Hey, this client, we need one door handle put on. You need to go, you need to go do that. And now we're back to doing it all again. So the dynamic is very different, and
Yeah.
trying to get back to square of just two people. So
You're like, man, we got to hire somebody quick, and I mean now, get somebody in here.
I'm actually not. I actually want us to go. I really want us to get the training and the expectations dialed in first, and almost like a training schedule. Like we're going to start here. This is where we want to be in a couple of weeks. We want to be here in a couple of weeks. I would really rather pick up some extra work right now than I would to, because I do feel like while this was a good opportunity for him, I do feel like that there is a contributing factor to him wanting to leave. And I feel like sometimes it's was the randomness, the kind of
Hmm.
the lack of a plan. Uh, you know, I think there, and that's not to say there was no plan. I just don't know that it was a sufficient plan. But you don't know what you don't know, right? Like, I'm not trying to like throw stones at Derek, but like again, this being his first person on board and take through this process, I know he had a plan in mind. I don't know if I just don't think that it was a plan that was able to hold together. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And actually
Yeah.
be practical, you know?
Well, you learn a lot when you bring somebody in who doesn't know the industry or the custom world or whatever else. Cabinet making is complicated. I think a lot of times we brush right over that, but you can get overwhelmed in it,
Well, and,
easily.
and this kid couldn't read a tape measure when he showed up. Like,
Right.
I mean,
And
he
so that's,
literally had to teach every aspect of everything.
yeah,
And what you don't know, and what was really struggling for me was the things that he just didn't know from just a lack of experience. Like you forget you're twice their age.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't always feel 43 years old until I start talking to somebody who's 20,
yeah, right.
and I'm like, "Oh, you know, I mean, even their text message responses, I'm like, "What?" You know,
Man,
I
don't get me
mean,
started on that.
he replied back. I sent him one thing, and I got back sick as an answer, and I was like, "Huh? You're not feeling well? What's going on? What do you mean sick? You know, like I mean, because it didn't even fit. Like it just didn't even fit with the conversation. I don't remember what it was, but and little things like, hey, you should strap that down. Oh, you really think so? Yeah, I think that's going to fly out of the back of your truck if you don't strap that down. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have any straps. How do you own a truck and not have a strap? Like,
They weren't raised on a chicken farm, were they?
I guess not. I mean, but it just seems so foreign for me for somebody to own a truck and not have a single strap in that truck. Like, I I mean, maybe that's the South Alabama. I don't know. It just seems like that those are things that go hand in hand. Like there is a chain under the back seat of my truck. It's never been used.
But it's in there.
I have no intentions of using it. But should I need to pull myself or pull somebody else out of something, there is a chain under the seat of my truck. It's in an ammo can, you know? I mean, it's just and that's when you bring somebody on, it's so hard to gauge exactly what they do and do not know, you
Yeah.
know? And
Or
and I'm
or
to the
what their
age.
or what their learning curve is going to be.
Yeah, that for sure. But my problem is I'm to the age where I'm not hiding it very well when I think that you should know something. And that didn't go over very well a couple of times, you know. Where I just kind of have to roll my eyes and go, "Really? Like, I mean, I don't understand this." Or did your dad not hit you with an extension cord? Like, why is this left like
Right.
this? Like, why,
Yeah.
I mean, like you know, like packing up the tools at the end of the day, we were kind of talking about that in the little first section. I went and bought a cord reel. The extension cord is attached to the reel. Like it doesn't, not like one of those cheap plastic ones, but it's got like a multi plug. And so you wind it up. I went and bought that just because I was tired of the extension cord being in a wad
Mm.
in the trailer at the end of the day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to beat this. I'm going to buy a reel. No, you can't beat that. I mean, it was just, I mean, the first day it was just all kind of like, I'm like, what happened? Who exploded this? All you had to do was wind it up, you
Yeah.
know. That's when I go back to clearly nobody hit you with an extension cord for not putting things up like you're supposed to. You know, I
That's
mean,
right. Yeah. Well, there's no, some people don't have a mindset of whatever I do, I'm going to do the best I can. You can look at it and tell something's not right. The question is, are you going to ask? Or are you going to make it right? Are you going, but I tell you this, if they're not locked in and they don't want to do it, regardless of their upbringing or whatever it is, if they don't want to be there and do that for a living, that's why I'm not all over Thomas now that he doesn't have a job. Like he's probably going to go with us tomorrow and help because he has to, and he's sitting around the house. But I'm not going to force him to come in and work in the shop for me because I'd rather him not be here than him come in and do not want to be here.
well, that's the
You know,
last thing you want, whether it's your
right?
kid or whether it's just a general employee, is somebody who doesn't want to be there. It's so
Yeah.
toxic.
Now Trey loves it.
Yeah.
Me and Trey, we love doing this for a living or whatever. He's happy. I'm happy. We get along fine. And man, to have that dynamic in there of just, we're both just easy going. We don't really get, crazy about anything. It just makes everything go a lot smoother. So I think, and I've had people work here that didn't want to work here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could tell, like,
Well,
their level of want to
this
is
kid,
zero.
he turned in his key today, actually, before we started recording. And I told him, in the conversation, I said, I wasn't surprised. I said, I wasn't surprised that you resigned at all. And he just kind of looked at me and I said, I just didn't feel like you were in it. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, what, really? I felt like I was pretty in it. I was like, no, it was pretty clear the honeymoon was over. Like, you just weren't as in it as you originally were. I mean, you were getting new tools and you were learning new things and you were very excited about it. But as it became a job and not something new, like, it just, you could just, I could see it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, and obviously he didn't mean to show that way, or he didn't really feel like he showed it that way. But I mean, I saw it. I mean, I could see where he was just like,
And that's nothing bad about an individual. It's just,
no,
it's not for everybody.
no. I mean, he's
This is
19.
not
He don't
something
know
that,
what he has no idea what he likes and dislikes.
Well, when he gets out there on them framing jobs and doing stuff like
Yeah.
that, he's gonna find out real quick that
Well, and like, I mean, like I was talking, he's like, I was like, how's it going? He's like, oh, it's pretty good. Really fun. I learned how to drive skid steer. I learned learn how to do an excavator. So yeah, I mean, he's all back in the honeymoon stage right now.
yeah.
You getting these new toys and this new, this, you know, and
That's
it's
what you call a
fun.
sign-on bonus, buddy. You ain't gonna be on that excavator every day.
Yeah, yeah. Or until you're out there. I mean, I work for a guy doing very similar to work he was, and next thing I know, I found myself on an excavator for about a week straight while one guy chiseled limestone and I picked up the rock that he chiseled. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This is not fun. Like
Yep.
you're just sitting in this hot machine all day and you're not going fast enough for the builder for sure.
And
You
we have
know,
an advantage over somebody that I know several people that do that. And the landscape may change. You may be on another property, but that's it. Your excavator is your excavator. We're in here jigs and we'll get a new tool or we'll get a new trailer or we'll get, this process down or we'll try this out. We have the ability to kind of always change and morph and do something different, finishing, sanding, sanders, what is a million things. But somebody that would be just like a factory job. You sit in the excavator, you do the same, you're watching that bucket all day, every day. And eventually it's like, yeah, this was fun when I started out, but now I'm so sick and tired of seeing this bucket
yeah.
just go in
Well, my
front of me,
biggest thing is when you see a process that needs to change, you don't have the ability, you don't have the power or the ability to change it.
Yep.
Sometimes, most of the times, I'm not gonna say all the time, but when you look at a process and it's got 10 steps to it, and you're like, I really could do this in 7 steps and achieve the
Mm-hmm.
same goal. You don't have that ability to leave out 3 steps. You're expected to do it because somebody has deemed it that way, and I can't. I can't handle that. I can't go back to the real world.
No.
I want to live in this imaginary world that I've created for myself where if I don't like it, I don't do it. I mean, it's just that simple,
There's a lot to be said about that. So,
Yeah.
and again, we go back to our roots of this podcast. You got one life to live. Man, we started out saying that. You got one life to live. If it's for you, then do it. But if it's not, then don't. And don't waste 10 years of your life doing something I did it for 14 years, dude. I hated every day.
Yeah.
And my biggest regret was not doing what I did sooner. But I don't blame old Mitch,
Yeah.
because he was trying to provide for his family and do what's best for his family. It's a huge gamble.
But
doing something
but
like
the
this,
other
so.
thing is too, without that misery, you wouldn't understand how good this was. This could feel
Oh,
just as miserable. I mean,
right.
you know what I'm
And I
saying?
wouldn't be willing to go out there after this podcast is over and spray 3 coats of paint on some shelves.
You're still
You
unwilling,
know,
but at least you
yeah,
had the choice.
yeah, yeah. I'd be like, I'm going home, which I might go home. I don't know. The later it gets, the less motivated I am to go out there and say, well, we'll just do the install in 2 days instead of rushing it all and doing it in one. So, but we got that ability. We work for ourselves. We do whatever we want to, whenever we want to, that's the way it is.
That's what everybody thinks. Well, brother, I can't tell you how much it's fun and how grateful I am to sit back down and do this again. I mean, I know it's a strain on you, it's a strain on me, but I think there is a purpose for it. I think there's a reason why we were brought back to focus on this again and to try it. And it's just it's a good decompression still. It just
Yeah, I love it.
Even enjoying in somebody else's misery makes my misery a little less sometimes. I mean, even
Yeah.
it's just nice to know that the things that are happening to me aren't just happening to me. It's part of it. It's part of the business. It's part of the cabinet business. It's part of entrepreneurship in general. You know, it's painful. I mean, it all the joys that it has and all the benefits that it has, it is painful.
Mhm.
So if we don't provide anything to anybody else except for just to give you information that our cabinet shops and our clients and our builders and we're experiencing those same struggles that you're not doing anything wrong. You're not in this unique world of what should I do. It's client by client And, that nightmare client is not going to last for forever,
That's it. Yep.
and there are some clients you got to decide whether they're even worth the money. Some of them you just walk away from. Uh,
Yep.
I mean, this kitchen that we're wrapping up this week, I mean, we were on the verge. I mean, I literally told Derek, I said, if they do not sign a contract today, I want out. I don't want anything to do with it. I said, because they have just drug us for forever. I was like, I'm at my breaking point where I have severe concerns that we're never going to be done with this job. So if they don't sign a contract today, I'm not in on this project. And he pretty much told the client that, like, it's been a year. If you guys don't lock in, then we're dropping you as a client.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
I mean,
Yep.
it's been, you know,
It's
but
okay to hold customers to a standard.
yeah,
It's
it
okay
is.
to have 100 hours in a job, designing and back and forth and meetings and everything, and not getting a penny for it. It's okay to sit there and say, you know what, you're not being fair about this, regardless if they're doing it intentionally or not. This way of handling this business is just, it's not fair. We're not going to continue to do this. I've been there before recently. That bathroom and laundry room job, it was change after change after change after change. Well, I want a rod. I don't want a rod. I want on the left. I want on the right. I want it in the middle. I want them to the ceiling. I want them shorter. I want them raised up. I want 2 drawers in the vanity. Now I want 3 drawers I want furniture feet, no furniture feet. So the last thing she sent me, she goes, can we make the cabinets in the laundry room go up to the ceiling with another set of doors across the top? And I said, yes. And that was it. I drew it that way and I sent it to her. And I said, this is your drawing of that. Nothing. I didn't say nothing else. 2 weeks goes by and she's like, hey, I was just checking in to see if, where we're at, if we're good to go. And I said, as soon as you approve that last text I sent you, I'm ready. But I'm not doing anything else. I'm not starting on it because you haven't approved it,
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is sometimes. But hang in there, folks. You'll be all right. If I'm okay, you'll be all right.
Well, and back to the old mantra, if you're thinking about starting something, go for it.
Do it.
You don't know if you don't try. I just always feel like there's nothing worse than wondering, could it have been the next big thing? It could very well be your next big flop, but it could very well be your next big thing. Don't throw caution to the wind. Take some calculated risk, but it is a risk. Go after it. Try something new. Whether you're making a big decision, a little decision, it doesn't matter. Make incremental movements towards your goal. But make the move. Even if it's just small steps to get there.
Do it.
Just start stepping.
And I'm excited, man, about the next episode. I'm excited about getting some other people on here. Let's talk to them and hear what they have to say. And we got a lot of stuff planned. We're not letting everything out. The whole cat is not out of the bag.
No, because they scratch and some don't.
Cats scratch. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. But we got some super exciting stuff coming up, man. Some people, some things we're working on behind the scenes. Think about the Patreon. Think about whether or not everybody listening, you can afford at least $3 a month.
If you haven't seen it already, be on the socials. Be on the lookout for the exclusive hat. That's coming out soon. Hopefully it beats the episode out. But we're working with a local designer. We're shopping local. We're not doing this through the internet. We've got a local hat maker that's working on it for us. So we're getting that taken care of. And then please, can't tell you how much of an importance it is to the algorithm to like and share it. Whatever your preferred method of listening / watching this is, if you can like and share it, especially, subscribing is good. Subscribing and hitting the alert on YouTube will give you the indications that we've given out a new episode. But apparently the algorithms are saying that's not as important as watching it from start to finish is. And then, doing a share of it is more important to the algorithm than the subscribing. Whatever.
We don't know how it works. We just know that's what it's telling us.
But if you subscribe as well and you alert, and you share, you have done everything possible.
And how
To
much is
help
that
us
going
out.
to cost them?
$0.
Yeah, that's right. It's not going to cost you a thing. So
No dollars.
that's it.
But we
You
have
know,
kids we're trying to feed. We've got colleges we're trying to pay for, and wives that like to buy things. So,
and we've already sunk way more money into this relaunch than we did the first one.
that's just true.
So we're already in the red. All right. I don't know if I'm going to buy groceries next week. So, we need some help. But anyway, yeah, think about doing that, but share it. It's important to get eyeballs on it. That's what we're after. We're after you sharing it, and we need exposure. We can only do so many. The two of us can only share it so many times.
Yep. And let
And
us
it's to
know.
the same people.
Let us know if you like this split up format. If you're digging it, in the segments, or if you're digging it in the long one, let us know so we know which
You
direction to
never
keep
know.
driving.
I might see that you shared it on something. Man, I might just mail you something. Yeah, I'm just saying you don't know. You don't know. I've got some stuff laying around that I could, throw in the mailbox. Not guaranteeing it.
I got all this stuff that's been thrown at me. I could mail some stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I have enjoyed it. I think it went really good. I think they're gonna like it. So we'll see. But I'm excited. I'm like you, man. I think it's gonna be less stress doing it once a month. Right now is what we're planning on doing it. Don't have to worry about it every week, constantly, revolving our life. It can't be where we're putting our life on hold just for the podcast, because we're not making a living doing it.
Unless y'all grow the podcast so much that we can, and we'll just do a
Yeah.
podcast every week.
There you go.
All right.
So,
I'm out.
all right, man. Be good. Thank you, producer, for everything that you've done, and that'll do it. Have a good one.